Chapter 471. The attack of the Golden Core Realm Strongman. The void battlefield was vast and boundless, like a black abyss, filled with an endless aura of solemn killing intent. With each exchange between the strong, ripples upon ripples emerged in the void. No less than a dozen Golden Core Realm martial artists were battling fiercely, and even celestial human-level existences were staring at each other from afar, making the battlefield even more terrifying. In such an intense battlefield, the void continuously shattered but was eventually stabilized by an even greater power. If it weren't for the intervention of the rules of heaven and earth, this world might have been shattered at any moment due to the fierce battles of the strong. In a certain void within the endless battlefield, two figures were still fighting fiercely, with countless runes interwoven, thunderbolts flashing, and their battle reaching its white-hot limit. Boom! The sky-brilliant sword suddenly slashed out the most dazzling and intense sword light. The unparalleled intensity and unstoppable sword momentum surged like a flood, shattering the void and struck Zhongli Lianqing. This one strike had almost doubled in power compared to before, surpassing ordinary rune seed realm peak. Endless sharpness and invincible sword intent poured out like 100 rivers converging. Zhongli Lianqing's face changed dramatically as he quickly mobilized all the runes to form the sturdiest rune shield to directly defend against the brilliant sword power. Upon collision, an intense shock wave erupted, and Zhongli Lianqing felt terrified, sensing that Lu Yun's strength seemed to have increased several times in an instant. His rune shield, when faced with the most sharp spear, was subjected to a terrifying force that continuously bombarded it, an endless, formidable power that was extremely sharp. The rune shield that he had constructed with all his might, under the impact of this sword power, began to crumble and shatter, falling apart like rotten wood. How is this possible? Zhongli Lianqing expressed the same astonishment that Lu Yun's previous opponents had felt. One must know that he was at the peak of the rune seed realm, far beyond the reach of martial artists who had just entered the peak of the rune seed realm. But now, the strength Lu Yun had unleashed had suddenly surpassed his limits. All-conquering sword radiance advanced unhindered, like nothing in the world could stand in its way. Breaking through, shattering, and piercing through everything. Retreat. Retreat. With this thought flashing like madness, Zhongli Lianqing retreated without hesitation. This was something that he couldn't have imagined happening to him and hadn't expected to happen. But in this situation, he had no choice but to retreat. Even though he knew that his retreat represented a kind of humiliation. Being just a gold body realm martial artist, even if he was the Martial Academy's saint child, his cultivation was far inferior to his own. Yet, he had been pushed into retreat by his opponent, which was a humiliation. Just as Zhongli Lianqing retreated with reluctance and rage, he suddenly found his mind being struck by a mysterious force, causing him a momentary daze. Martial arts will. This was the first time Lu Yun had used martial arts will to strike his opponent's sea of consciousness. Caught off guard, Zhongli Lianqing immediately broke free. Although he had not yet refined his martial arts will, he wasn't far from that point. In the end, Lu Yun's newly refined martial arts will was not powerful enough to truly impact him. However, just that split second was enough for the Sky Brilliance Thunder Sword True Art, third style, one invincible strike to directly hit Zhongli Lianqing's body. His seemingly powerful runes trembled slightly and shattered, making a clanging sound. Under the endless sword light, Zhongli Lianqing's flesh was cut and pierced through. After the sword light passed, a long mark was left in the sky. Lowering his head to see his own pierced chest, he could see the void behind him. Zhongli Lianqing looked at Lu Yun with disbelief and shock on his face. He, the great elder of the Netherworld sect, had been slain here by a mere gold body realm martial artist. His prowess as one of the top powerhouses beneath the Golden Core realm made him a famous figure among the 100 sects. It didn't matter if his opponent was a heavenly pride or a mutant. Lu Yun, even if I die, I won't let you off easy." In the end, the residual sword intent in his body erupted, and Zhongli Liancheng's body was torn apart by the sword qi, turning into a bloody rain that splattered everywhere. Immediately after, a dark red sumi ring fell, as if pulled by invisible strings, and flew into Lu Yun's hand. At the same time, a black light flew out from the blood rain and entered Lu Yun's body without a trace. Lu Yun didn't pay attention and quickly refined the sumi ring. This sumi ring had 100 cubic meters of space, and it contained the pills he needed. There were as many as 5 7th-grade pills. One 7th-grade pill was worth almost 40,000 energy points, and 5 of them amounted to 200,000 energy points. In addition to the pills, there were also some armors, weapons, and other materials. Since he was currently on the battlefield and danger could strike at any moment, he didn't thoroughly inspect them. Lu Yun then checked his black gold identification token and nodded in satisfaction. Good, his account had increased by 40,000 demon extermination points this time. With his previous accumulations, his total had now exceeded 500,000. "You dare to kill a great elder of my netherworld sect, you're courting death." Enraged voices echoed while a giant palm, thousands of feet in size, emerged from the void, rolling towards them. Lu Yun's face turned solemn. He immediately gathered all his strength and slashed out an earth-shattering sword strike. Boom! The sword strike capable of killing the peak of the rune seed realm collided with the giant palm, and it shattered under its impact. Chapter 472. The attack of the Golden Core Realm Strongman _2. Fortunately, it seemed that the attacker had struck in haste and from a greater distance, so that when the attack reached Lu Yun, its power had significantly diminished, causing him no serious harm. As Lu Yun was flung away by this palm strike, he managed to put some distance between himself and his opponent, finally getting a clear look at who was attacking him. Standing in the void, they seemed to be one with the surrounding space, their aura as deep as an abyss, vast and boundless. Considering the brief skirmish earlier, the opponent may have surpassed the rune seed realm. Against such a formidable foe, even if he were to use all his trump cards, he wouldn't have a chance to resist. With this in mind, Lu Yun immediately retreated towards the rear. Unleashing the full power of 3,000 thunder movement, Lu Yun's speed reached the limit of the rune seed realm. Transforming into a thunderbolt, he quickly vanished from his original position. However, this Golden Core Realm expert did not intend to let Lu Yun escape. "You killed the great elder of Netherworld sect and so many deputy masters of Red Moon Demon sect, and you want to leave now? It won't be that easy." He had been watching Lu Yun for a while. Having no time to act earlier, he could only secretly instruct Zhongli Liancheng to attack. He did not expect Zhongli Liancheng, who was at the peak of the rune seed realm, to fall into Lu Yun's hands. Lu Yun's monstrous display only intensified the killer intent in his heart. "I must eliminate him. Otherwise, even if we can repel the demon suppression army, we will have one more formidable enemy in the future." Suddenly, a golden light radiated around him, and his speed reached its extreme as he chased after Lu Yun. With Yin Wujie stepping in, Lu Yun is unlikely to escape this disaster. The hidden powerhouses in the void rejoiced in their hearts after seeing the appearance of the sect master of Netherworld sect. Lu Yun's sudden display of power and defeating Zhongli Liancheng had shocked them. If he could kill someone at the peak of the rune seed realm, while being at the peak of the golden body realm, wouldn't he be able to kill a golden core realm expert once he condensed rune seeds? Such a monster must not be allowed to live. With the help of the Red Moon Demon sect's cultivation protection, the sect master of the Netherworld sect has advanced to the golden core realm. Killing Lu Yun shouldn't be a problem. The man in a green robe spoke with great confidence. However, Elder Heng was not as optimistic as the others and shook his head slightly. The best opportunity to kill Lu Yun has already passed. As soon as he said this, it immediately caught the attention of the surrounding powerhouses. "What do you mean, Elder Heng? A beautiful woman with snow-white clothes asked in a soft and melodious voice, as serene as a mountain spring, involuntarily drawing the gaze of the green-robed man beside her. Enwuji's move has attracted the attention of the demon extermination generals of the heavenly level. Soon, someone will take action against Enwuji. It was not Elder Heng who replied to the woman in white, but the middle-aged man next to him. In the void, Lu Yun frantically fled. Did they catch up so quickly? Feeling the intense fluctuations from behind him, Lu Yun frowned deeply, and his heart sank to the depths. He had already escaped tens of thousands of miles, yet the pursuit continued relentlessly, making it clear that he was being singled out. If he were caught, there would be no chance of breaking free. In terms of foundation and strength, although he had far surpassed the limit of his current realm and was even much stronger than many peak rune seed realm experts, such foundation and strength were no match for a true golden core realm expert. The gap between them could not be bridged by foundation or talent. Immediately, Lu Yun cast Instant Horizon without any hesitation. As swirling ripples appeared, Lu Yun's figure disappeared from his original position. Disappeared. Enwuji was shocked when he saw Lu Yun suddenly vanish from his line of sight. He hadn't expected that just as he was about to catch up with Lu Yun, his target would disappear right under his nose. And it was the kind of disappearance that left no trace. He didn't use a spatial talisman, nor did he rely on other treasures. It seemed more like some kind of divine ability. Looking at the ripples left around him, a hint of coldness flashed in his deep eyes. However, he quickly dismissed the thought in his heart. Lu Yun had not condensed rune seeds, and it was impossible for him to master rune seed divine abilities. Elder Heng, did you see clearly just now how Lu Yun suddenly disappeared? The man in green robe tried to hide the complexity in his eyes and sincerely asked Elder Heng for guidance. The rest also turned their gazes to Elder Heng. Although they were all Golden Core Realm experts, they were unable to discern the means that Lu Yun had used earlier. Elder Heng, who had both moral integrity and broad experience, was the only one who could see the clues among them. Unfortunately, Elder Heng also slightly shook his head. Even though he had vast experiences, how could he ever see through methods like Instant Horizon? Instantly traversing thousands of miles, such a means could only be achieved by a celestial human. As for Elder Heng, he was merely at the peak of the Golden Core realm. Enwuji searched for traces of Lu Yun everywhere, already determined to kill. How could he easily give up? His gaze swept across the battlefield and soon saw a powerful wave appearing thousands of miles away. Found you! A sinister glow flashed in Enwuji's deep eyes, and he quickly flew in that direction. Golden Core Realm experts were extremely fast, crossing hundreds of miles in just a few breaths. Enwuji suddenly moved quickly in a certain direction. Did he find something? The experts hidden in the void were surprised after noticing Enwuji's unusual behavior and asked. It is said that the Netherworld sect has a secret technique called Blood Soul Curse. At the last moment of their lives, they can use blood as a medium to leave a mark on the person who killed them. This mark can last for half a month, and those who practice this secret technique in the Netherworld sect can sense the mark they planted within a certain range. If I'm not mistaken, Zhongli Lianqing planted the Blood Soul Curse on Lu Yun at the last moment of his life. And Enwuji must have discovered Lu Yun's whereabouts through the Blood Soul Curse mark. After using Instant Horizon to escape to another corner of the void battlefield, Lu Yun targeted another Rune Seed Realm martial artist. He had learned his lesson from the past. Because he had been too conspicuous, he had been targeted by the Golden Core Realm experts. Therefore, Lu Yun became much more low-key and focused on the initial and middle stages of the Rune Seed Realm martial artist. This time, his target was a martial artist in the early stage of the Rune Seed Realm. After locking onto his target, Lu Yun quickly killed him with the speed of lightning and then disappeared from the original spot after collecting his spoils of war. From locking the target to killing the target and collecting the spoils of war, the whole process didn't take much time, and because of this none of the people around noticed the appearance of a powerful figure like Lu Yun. With such unrestraint, in less than half an hour, Lu Yun had killed 5 Rune Seed Realm martial artists and harvested a large number of pills and other resources. In this process, he had also been noticed by a peak Rune Seed Realm expert. However, Lu Yun never engaged with him. Although he could kill the opponent, he would need to use some means, and it would inevitably create a great disturbance, which would easily attract the attention of other Golden Core Realm experts. Having just been taught a lesson, he naturally wouldn't make that mistake again. Thus, whenever he encountered enemies that were slightly difficult to kill, he would choose to avoid the battle temporarily. Why is this brat hiding here and there? Could he have discovered that he has been cursed with the Blood-Soul Curse? Seeing the direction of the Blood-Soul Curse mark constantly changing, Yin Wuji's face turned gloomy. The Blood-Soul Curse is very secretive, and ordinary martial artists could hardly notice it. If he has really discovered it, he would only flee for his life, not linger in one place. Upon thinking this, Yin Wuji's face finally smoothed over. Half an hour later, as Yin Wujie felt the mark of the Blood-Soul Curse getting closer and closer, a hint of a smile finally appeared in his eyes. Finally found you. Yin Wujie's gaze penetrated the gray void and landed on a battlefield 50 miles away. There, Lu Yun was lurking, preparing to strike down his target with a thunderous blow. Chapter 473. Escaping the battlefield, beginning the breakthrough. This little guy not only has monstrous talent and strength but also exceptional life-saving skills. What's more, he's extremely cautious. Once he escapes again, it won't be easy to find him. We must strike like thunder and not give him any chance to flee this time. With this thought, Yin Wujie temporarily suppressed his murderous intent, slowly closing the distance with Lu Yun. When there were only a dozen miles left between them, he chose to lie low and wait for the opportunity to strike a fatal blow. Lu Yun didn't know that he had been marked with the Blood-Soul Curse and was being pursued by Yin Wujie. After carefully scanning the surroundings, he found that there were no powerful figures above the Rune Seed Realm peak within a 10-mile radius. In the next instant, his body swept across the sky like a ghost. The sky brilliance sword suddenly slashed out, and the long-accumulated sword force burst forth. The sword radiance momentarily resembled the heavens collapsing and the earth splitting, causing the void to tremble violently. The sword was like a stream of light, its momentum like thunder. The surrounding powerful fighters changed their expressions in just an instant. This terrifying presence had a tremendous impact on their mind. Especially the target chosen by Lu Yun, both his mind and body seemed to be stuck in a deadlock state for an instant. When he recovered, he only felt a slight sting in the throat. Immediately after, by the time he saw the figure attacking him, his consciousness sank from light into darkness. The entire process was clean and swift, without causing the opponent any pain. The surrounding Demon Suppression Army and Red Moon Demon Sect and 9 Nether Demon Sect martial artists couldn't see the figure enveloped in thunderous light clearly. Now is the time. As Lu Yun killed his target and absorbed the Sumi Ring, a cold glint flashed in Yin Wujie's eyes, and his breath suddenly erupted. Accompanied by the revelation of Yin Wujie's murderous intent, an overwhelmingly powerful breath pervaded the void, suppressing the heavens and earth. Everyone couldn't help but change their expressions, feeling horrified as they only felt a heavy weight on their chests, as if a massive mountain were pressing down, making it difficult to breathe. Those with slightly weaker cultivation bases felt their consciousness dissipating, their spirits being dizzy for a moment, and an inexplicable trepidation surged from their souls and hearts. That's right, the moment he erupted, Yin Wujie not only used the power of a Golden Core Realm expert but also his martial arts will to assert dominance over Lu Yun. Retreat! Retreat! In just a breath of seconds, Lu Yun broke free from the pressure of the opponent's martial arts will and then promptly executed instant horizon without hesitation. However, he found that the surrounding void had suddenly become indestructible, as if it were composed of copper walls and iron barriers. Whoosh! A blood-red figure stood in the void, exuding a monstrous aura. Countless blood-colored breaths swirled around him, filling the sky, demonstrating unrivaled demonic power. It was Yin Wujie. His cold and indifferent gaze swept over, disdainful of the trivial demon suppression army and martial artists on the battlefield. Like a demon god, his gaze made everyone feel an indescribable trepidation from the depths of their hearts. Ignoring everyone else, his gaze fell on Lu Yun, who was trapped in the Netherworld Gate. You could break free from the oppression of martial arts will, but it's a pity that I've already made thorough preparations and won't give you a second chance to escape. Netherworld Gate? Lu Yun's eyes darkened slightly as he glanced around and finally looked up at the void above, detecting an anomaly. Ripples spread and a faint blood-colored light emerged from the void. A vague silhouette stood tall in the void. Was that the Netherworld Gate? Lu Yun immediately thought that it was because of the Netherworld Gate that his previous attempt to execute instant horizon had failed, as it had sealed the surrounding space. This kid has too many tricks. I can't be careless. With a thought, Yin Wujie's eyes instantly condensed, and a blood-red spear appeared in his hand, coiled with countless blood-colored breaths. The spear, like a demonic dragon emerging from the abyss, exploded with unparalleled killing intent, bombarding Lu Yun, who was trapped beneath the Netherworld Gate without any mercy. This spear caused wind and thunder to mix, a sea of blood to surge, the sky to collapse, and the earth to shatter. Lu Yun was alarmed. Was this the power of a full strike from a Golden Core realm expert? With a turn of thought, Lu Yun's body was hit by the blood-red spear wrapped in light, instantly disintegrating, but only an afterimage was shattered. Several hundred feet away, amidst the flashing thunder, Lu Yun's figure appeared, his gaze fixed on Yin Wujie standing on the Netherworld Gate. After seeing his appearance clearly, his eyes grew cold. This fellow was truly relentless and shameless. Although he had just dodged the spear, he was still affected by the aftermath. The energy from his protective armor dissipated, and his physical body sustained minor injuries. However, this scene looked entirely different in Yin Wujie's eyes. Such fast speed, such powerful physical strength. He had thought that with Lu Yun being suppressed by the Netherworld Gate and himself employing all the power of the early Golden Core realm, there would be no way for his opponent to survive. But he didn't expect Lu Yun to forcibly move under the binding force of the Netherworld Gate. This physical strength and explosive speed were something that even the Rune Seed Realm peak experts couldn't achieve. Soon, Yin Wujie came to his senses. Looking at Lu Yun, his killing intent grew thicker. It's a pity that you've already been suppressed by the Netherworld Gate. No matter how strong your body is or how fast your speed is, it won't make much difference. Killing you will also cost Morijin a monstrous talent. Lu Yun was naturally unwilling to sit idle and wait for death. The sky brilliance sword slashed down, and the sword sound resonated through the void. A crimson gold sword radiance burst out from the scabbard, shattering the sky and carrying an unparalleled sharpness and domineering power, aimed at the Netherworld Gate above. Chapter 474. Escaping the battlefield, beginning the breakthrough _2. This sword, covering the heavens and the earth, spanned the horizon, and the vast sky seemed to be torn apart, with radiant light shining so brightly that everyone's eyes could not open. Yin Wujie's cold and ruthless face, like that of a demon venerable, involuntarily changed slightly as he sensed the power of breaking extreme from this sword radiance. A rumbling echoed through the void, and with a flick of Yin Wujie's spear, a blood-red dragon pierced through, shattering the void, and with an utterly tyrannical posture, it collided with the scarlet golden sword radiance. As the sword radiance shattered, Lu Yun's expression darkened slightly. The gap between me and the Golden Core realm is still vast. This previous sword move could be considered his most potent strike, but even so, it still submerged beneath the opponent's attack. You cannot escape. Just obediently accept death. In Wujie flicked his spear, and countless spear radiance pierced through the void. At the same time, the netherworld gate hidden in the void, imprisoning one side of the space, released blood-red light, and the suppressing and sealing force constantly descended on Lu Yun's body. This scene was also noticed by some powerful warriors. This young man can make a formidable golden core warrior like In Wujie to go all out, which shows his depth and strength. Indeed, being able to force In Wujie to use the netherworld gate with the peak of the golden body realm indicates that his foundation and strength are extremely profound and terrifying. But it's a pity that the means and divine abilities of the Golden Core realm are far from comparable to the Rune Seed realm. Moreover, In Wujie is not a newcomer to the Golden Core realm. This evildoer, Morijin, is destined to fall. Some strong warriors shook their heads and sighed, anticipating Lu Yun's fate. Even if one was at the peak of the Golden Body realm, it was impossible to block a Golden Core realm warrior. Even if one possessed unprecedented talent and combat power, what would it matter? At the same time, they breathed a sigh of relief in their hearts. On the other hand, Lu Yun had already discarded everything else. All he could do now was to fully activate the pure Yang strong origin, mobilize the runes within his body, and resist the pressure from the netherworld gate and those blood-red spear radiance. Gradually, his aura origin weakened severely, and even his formidable golden body began to show cracks. Lu Yun felt his head grow increasingly blurry, his body shaking violently, his pupils constricting, and golden blood flowing out from his mouth and nose. Hold on, I must hold on. Even at the last moment, he still had no intention of giving up. He couldn't believe that the other powerful warriors of the Demon Suppression Army wouldn't come to his rescue. Hehe, give up your futile attempts to resist, there's no way you can survive my attack. Seeing Lu Yun's gradually weakening energy and bloody appearance, the murderous intent on In Wujie's hideous face grew even stronger. In Wujie, today I will send you to your doom. At the moment when In Wujie was full of belittlement, a loud voice echoed through the void. Immediately afterward, a vast and boundless force surged through the void, and a long knife emitting red light seemed to cut across time and space. Seeing the bright red, blazing hot long knife, Lu Yun's heart relaxed slightly. I finally held on until the last moment. Not good. In Wujie's expression changed dramatically as he sensed the sudden rise of danger behind him. He abandoned his attack on Lu Yun, turned his spear, and exerted all his strength to stab at the towering blade radiance descending. The blade and spear collided, and their vast aura suddenly erupted. The terrifying waves swept across the battlefield within a radius of tens of thousands of miles in an instant, and all the Rune Seed Realm and Golden Body Realm warriors engaged in fierce battles stopped for a moment, turning their heads to SEC where the disturbance was coming from. Golden Core Realm Warrior. Heavenly Level Demon Extermination General. The powerful fighters engaged in heated battles on both sides suddenly changed their expression. In this boundless battlefield, many Golden Core Realm warriors were fighting, but they were all in deeper levels of the void. Now, however, one had descended on this battlefield, clearly breaking the previous stalemate. Lu Yun, in another corner of the battlefield, Bai Changfeng couldn't help but shake his head when he saw that Lu Yun was the cause of the two Golden Core warriors' explosive confrontation. Nevertheless, he soon refocused his attention on his opponent. His opponent was also quite strong, nearly reaching the limit of the Rune Seed Realm. From the beginning of the battle until now, the two had been fighting fiercely for more than 2 hours without a clear victor. Both were well matched, so neither dared to be distracted. Dogu Shanxian. A deep and domineering voice rang out from the void. In the gray void, In Wujie's hair fluttered, his breathing becoming slightly chaotic, and the blood-red light from the netherworld gate beneath his feet dimmed. Lu Yun, who had been trapped, also escaped from the void. Wujie, as the sect master of the Netherworld sect, I find it amusing that you would take action against a golden body realm martial artist of my demon suppression army. Dugu Shanxian stood with his hands behind his back, his tall body towering like a pillar. He was surrounded by intense flames of light. Having failed with one strike, Ling Hu Dao did not feel regretful. Dugu Shanxian. Upon hearing this name, the first thing that came to Lu Yun's mind was his relationship with Dugu Yuan. His gaze swept across Dugu Shangshuan's face, faintly discerning some similarities between him and Dugu Yuan. However, Lu Yun deeply remembered the name Dugu Shanxian. If he hadn't come to the rescue in time, Lu Yun doubted he could have held on much longer. Then he shifted his gaze to Wujie, his eyes filled with extreme coldness. Chapter 475. Escaping the battlefield, beginning the breakthrough _3. The next time we meet, the roles will be reversed and I'll kill you. Then, Lu Yun quickly left the battlefield. His gold body had been seriously damaged, his yuan high nearly depleted. Unable to exert even 30% of his strength, he was no longer suited to remain on the battlefield to fight enemies. Seeing Lu Yun escape from his grasp once again, Wujie, though unwilling, didn't pursue him after all. He understood that the moment Dugu Shanxian appeared, he lost his chance to kill Lu Yun. Dugu Shangshuan's gaze slowly retracted from the direction where Lu Yun had disappeared, and fell back on Wujie. Since I've already made a move, let's have a good fight. With that, he slashed with his sword. What seemed like a simple slash in reality carved a massive trace in the void, a flaming slash filled with a hot and domineering aura. I have to see how capable you, Dugu Shanxian, really are. In Wujie's gloomy eyes, there was cold and mercilessness. With that, he too stabbed out with a spear. In the beginning, he was attacked and his attention was mainly focused on Lu Yun, so he did not exert all of his strength. This time, he burst out with full power. The moment the blood-red spear and the blazing flaming sword clashed, they erupted with a force that could shatter the heavens and the earth. Boom boom boom. The hot atmosphere, the violent power, swept across the void. Everywhere it passed, everything crumbled and decayed like paper paste. A golden core realm strongman with a single move could destroy heaven and earth. Within tens of thousands of miles where two people fought, martial artists and demon suppression army who could not escape in time were all killed. Only the slightly stronger rune seed realm was not affected. Everything that happened here was unrelated to Lu Yun, who had left. After escaping from the Netherworld Gate, he used Instant Horizon and quickly arrived at the edge of the battlefield. At this time, he was still covered in blood, looking like a blood man. At the edge of the battlefield, only those martial artists with less strength wandered about, fighting with the demon extermination guards led by yellow rank and black rank demon extermination generals. Upon seeing Lu Yun, who was covered in blood and in a state of disarray, appear suddenly, the martial artists from the Red Moon Demon sect and the Nine Nether Demon sect rushed up. However, facing this sudden encirclement, Lu Yun gave a cold smile. The golden-edged sword fang was activated, the sky brilliance sword vibrated, and in an instant, more than 10 people fell. Lu Yun was leisurely flying among the encircling martial artists. Even though he was severely injured, the power he showed was terrifying. Such strength immediately made these attacking martial artists realize that they had kicked an iron plate. The target is too strong, let's retreat. The martial artist with the strongest strength, who was almost reaching the peak of the golden body realm, immediately used body lightning technique to escape. Lu Yun did not chase after him. He didn't even pick up the spoils of war, and quickly left the battlefield to return to the demon suppression army camp. This battlefield had been at a stalemate for several months, and it would not be easy to determine a winner in a short time. There were always demon suppression army entering and leaving the battlefield, and Lu Yun was not the only one. After showing his demon extermination token, Lu Yun entered the demon suppression army camp. found the temporary camp belonging to the Far Suppression Legion, and found a quiet place to start recovering from his injuries. This time his gold body was seriously damaged and was still deteriorating. Relying on his own healing capabilities, it would take a long time to recover. If some measures are not taken in time, it is likely to damage his own foundation. Therefore, Lu Yun had to find a top-grade 6th-grade pill from his spoils of war to take. The injury was too severe, and it was an injury left by a Golden Core realm strongman. The top 6th-grade pill had no effect at all. Given this situation, Lu Yun had to bite the bullet and select a purple gold frost pill from the 7th-grade pills. A 7th-grade pill, almost equivalent to 20,000 energy values. To say that it didn't hurt would be impossible. However, compared to healing his injuries and preserving his foundation, this seems less important. Once the purple gold frost pill was consumed, the worsening injuries finally stopped. The horrifying healing ability began to play a role. With the remaining energy of the pill, his gold body gradually began to recover. During the healing period, Lu Yun sorted out the spoils of war he obtained this time. Pills, weapons, spirit crystals, spirit herbs, and other spiritual objects. Lu Yun sorted them according to these categories, and took out all the pills, intending to refine them to boost his strength. The captured pills weren't many, but they were of high quality. Quite a few were 6th and 7th grade pills. After spending half a day, Lu Yun finally refined all the pills, and the energy value on the panel once again broke the million mark. Name: Lu Yun of Force. Flying Spirit Martial Academy Demon Suppression Army Cultivation Technique. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon Golden Body Episode Reach Profound 100%, Astonishing Wind Saber Manual, 6th level, Traceless 100%, Life Destruction Saber Techniques, 2nd level, Unparalleled Bloodblade 100%, Wind Thunder Manual, 3rd level, Instant Horizon, 100%, Fist Scripture, 2nd level, Sky Lion Shaking the Sky, 100%, Finger Scripture, 1st level, Formless Tribulation Finger, 100%, Thunder Sword True Art, Sky Brilliance 100%. Innate Talent, Level 9 Martial Arts. Golden Body Realm Peak 150 runes. Energy Value, 1,205,000 automatically increases by 50 each day. Conception, Slaughter Conception, 8th stage 1%. Thunder Conception, 7th stage 1%. Spatial Conception, 7th stage 1%. Skill, Level 6 Alchemy Technique, 7th grade %. Talent, White Lotus Flame, 7th grade 1%. Luck Value, 61. It's time to break the limit. Lu Yun took a deep breath, concentrating on the Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon. Upgrade. Boom boom boom. Thunderclaps rang out over the Demon Suppression Army camp on a sunny day, followed by rolling thunderstorms. In the vast camp, every Demon Suppression Army who was resting and practicing looked up at the sky. Some were shocked, some were puzzled, and all sorts of surprised expressions were everywhere. Chapter 476. Condense Rune Seeds, Heaven and Earth's Gift Sky Thunder Phenomenon. Within the Demon Suppression Army station, Ling Feng looked at the scene of the rolling thunder with a strange expression on his face. This phenomenon was the first time he had seen such an occurrence. However, if it came to rumors, he had heard about it many times. According to the rumors, only the birth of a superior rune seed and a purple extreme golden core can possibly cause the heavens and earth to produce such a phenomenon. It seems that Lu Yun has begun to condense superior rune seeds. However, it is unclear how many law runes he possesses now. Looking in the direction of Lu Yun's seclusion, a hint of shock appeared in Ling Feng's eyes. A superior rune seed was no longer a secret to a powerful individual like him. In fact, there were also people in the Demon Suppression Army who had condensed superior rune seeds, but such individuals were no more than a handful. However, when these heavenly prides condensed superior rune seeds, they all did so under the protection of several army commanders. Others had no chance of observing it. If there were no accidents, Lu Yun would enjoy the same treatment. Sure enough, after a short while, the void trembled, and amidst the grey void, ripples emerged, followed by a vast figure enshrouded in golden mist appearing in the sky. Upon seeing the arrival, Ling Feng and all the nearby demon suppression army bowed to the void in unison. Greetings to Army Commander Gongsun Zhonghong. Standing with his hands behind his back, Gongsun Zonghong's towering figure appeared, as if he was supporting the heavens and the earth. Even the vast sky seemed somewhat insignificant under his might. Now within my demon suppression army, another heavenly pride has emerged that can condense a superior rune seed. It's appropriate for me to protect the cultivation path for this. You all leave quickly. We will follow the orders of Army Commander Gongsun Zhonghong. Ling Feng and the other demon extermination generals and demon extermination guards did not dare to delay and left one after another. A heavenly pride that condensed a superior rune seed would receive feedback from the will of heaven and earth. If other martial artists were nearby, they would affect and share this feedback. Therefore, whenever there was a heavenly pride that condensed superior rune seeds, a strong individual would guard them. Golden Core Realm and stronger individuals had exceptional strength and could separate this feedback, leaving behind an opportunity to observe without causing any impact. Following Gongsun Zonghong's appearance, several other powerful individuals that were stationed in the camp also appeared. These were all heavenly-level demon extermination generals with vigorous aura and strong strength. Among them was a heavenly-level demon extermination general who looked quite young and handsome. The other demon extermination generals seemed to regard him as their leader. This individual was named Nangong Rui, a martial academy's saint child as well. He had condensed superior rune seeds, formed a superior golden core, and possessed extraordinary combat capabilities, not weaker than an early heavenly human realm expert. Among those around him, the weakest in cultivation were at the initial stage of the Golden Core Realm, a gathering of powerful individuals. Brother Nangong, it is said that Lu Yun is a saint child. What kind of feedback do you think he will receive from heaven and earth after condensing a superior rune seed? A heavenly-level demon extermination general at the initial stage of the Golden Core Realm retracted his gaze from Lu Yun's seclusion and said to Nangong Run. Although he was a Golden Core Realm powerhouse, he had never observed the process of condensing superior rune seed. Observing Lu Yun this time was his first time after advancing to the Golden Core Realm. To my knowledge, there are two types of heavenly and earthly feedback. 3 flowers gathered on top and 5 chi towards origin. In the past thousands of years, most superior rune seeds could only receive the heavenly and earthly feedback of 3 flowers gathered on top. As for Lu Yun, he is very likely to receive the heavenly and earthly feedback at the level of 5 chi towards origin. Nangong Rui had also heard about the achievements of the rising star Lu Yun, knowing that he had been able to kill a rune seed realm at the peak of the golden body realm and escape from the hands of a golden core realm expert. Such a heaven-defying performance was enough to show that Lu Yun had a solid foundation and horrifying talent. If there were no accidents, he would definitely receive the heavenly and earthly feedback of 5 chi towards origin. While the crowd was talking, Gongsun Zhonghong, who was in the void, finally made his move. Countless golden lights fell in all directions, sealing off the phenomenon of the heavens and the earth in this area. The golden barrier sealed off an area hundreds of miles in radius, preventing even the Golden Core Realm experts from entering. This was the means of a heavenly human realm expert, sealing off a part of the void. Looking at Gongsun Zhonghong, who was making waves in the sky, the Golden Core Realm experts below couldn't help feeling envious and admiring. For most of them, the Golden Core Realm was their limit. Becoming a heavenly human was unattainable. I didn't expect that advancing from reach profound to perceive truth in the Golden Body episode would consume nearly 300,000 energy points. At this moment, Lu Yun, who was not concerned about the outside world, was still in the state of epiphany. After the pure Yang martial arts canon Golden Body episode entered Perceive Truth, the number of law runes did not surge at once. Instead, they helped Lu Yun quickly inscribe the runes through an epiphany state. 151 St 152 ND. As time passed, the gathering of thunder in the heavens and earth became more terrifying, and the phenomenon grew even more astonishing. Meanwhile, the law runes above Lu Yun's Yuan Hai became more and more numerous, his entire body shrouded in golden light. The dazzling light spread across the surrounding area, as if some heavenly treasure was about to be born. Rumble! As Lu Yun's law runes soared, the heavenly and earthly spiritual qi outside became more and more violent, surging towards Lu Yun like a bursting dam. However, there was a golden light barrier outside Lu Yun's body, so these spiritual qi did not enter his body. Instead, they flowed along the golden light barrier towards the sky above his head. Upon seeing this scene, the Golden Core Realm experts present wore astonished expressions on their faces. This phenomenon is simply too terrifying. Even before condensing the rune seed, it has reached such a level. It seems that Brother Nangong was right. Lu Yun is bound to receive the 5 qi towards origin heavenly and earthly bestowal. Chapter 477. Condensing Rune Seed, Heaven and Earth Bestow Gifts _2 Under the astonished and shocked gazes of the crowd, the heavenly and earthly spiritual qi accumulating above Lu Yun's head grew denser and formed a clear spring. Moreover, as time passed, the area of the clear spring formed by the accumulation of heavenly and earthly spiritual qi became larger and larger. Not far away, Nangong Rue had been paying close attention to Lu Yun. His expression remained calm, but nobody knew that his heart had been stirred by tremendous waves. Others did not know the specific details of refining a superior rune seed, but he knew them very well. This kind of anomaly around Lu Yun was much more powerful than that of his own back then. At the same time, the heavenly and earthly spiritual qi surging toward Lu Yun became more and more abundant. Under the influence of the golden light shield, all of it condensed above Lu Yun and formed a spiritual lake. If such an extremely dense heavenly and earthly spiritual qi was shared with other members of the demon suppression army, I'm afraid that they would break through several realms at once. A heavenly level demon extermination general sighed. Someone shook their head, disagreeing. This spiritual lake is the foundation bestowed by heaven and earth. Giving it to other members of the demon suppression army to help break through realms would only be a waste. Compared to a heavenly pride with a supreme foundation, the other members of the demon suppression army seemed somewhat insignificant. After all, the Morijin region was vast with a population of more than tens of billions. The number of people who could become members of the demon suppression army was countless. However, a heavenly pride capable of refining a superior rune seed and almost certainly becoming a celestial human was extremely rare. Time leisurely passed, and the law runes within Lu Yun's body finally reached their limit. 175. 99 law runes were required to refine a superior rune seed. There were as many as 175 runes within Lu Yun's body, almost double the minimum requirement. At this time, the spiritual lake above Lu Yun's head spanned dozens of miles, with rolling waves engulfed in fog, resembling a fairy lake. Above the spiritual lake, thunder rolled and its momentum reached its peak. The powerful experts surrounding him stared at this scene, their faces turning solemn and serious. After much anticipation, it was finally time for Lu Yun to refine the superior rune seed. It was at this moment that the thunder tribulation transformed into a lightning torrent and descended. This terrifying tribulation power was chilling. However, the thunder tribulation did not fall on Lu Yun but on the spiritual lake that spanned dozens of miles above him. The spiritual lake boiled, thunderbolts flew, fog swirled, and a purple radiance rose from it. Boom! The heavenly and earthly spiritual chi violently surged, growing even more frenzied as it poured into the spiritual lake, enlarging its size. The thunder tribulation torrent descended with a crash, strengthening the fog and purple radiance within the spiritual lake, causing them to start drifting outward. After this happened, Gongsun Zhonghong, who had remained motionless in the void, took action again. Golden light descended from the sky, blocking the escaping purple radiance and fog outside the spiritual lake. As for the Golden Core realm powerhouses such as Nangong Rui who were observing, they shielded their own auras one after another, so as not to interfere with the growth of the spiritual lake's anomaly. The next moment, they saw a purple flower slowly taking shape above Lu Yun's head, emitting a majestic spiritual chi and fluctuations of law. Immediately after that, a second purple flower condensed. Almost with only 1 or 2 breaths in between, there was hardly any interval between the appearance of the 2 flowers. 2 more breaths later, the third foggy purple flower condensed from the spiritual chi. My God, in just a few breaths, he has achieved the 3 flowers gathering above, and Lu Yun is bound to receive the heavenly and earthly feedback of 5 chi towards origin. It's terrifying. It took such a short time to condense the 3 flowers, far surpassing the time it took anyone else I've ever seen to do it. The strange light gleamed in the eyes of these Golden Core realm powerhouses. Even Nangong Run couldn't believe his eyes as he gazed at Lu Yun. The speed at which the other party's anomaly condensed the 3 flowers far exceeded his expectations. When he had experienced his anomaly, it took him nearly a quarter of an hour to condense the 3 flowers. Rumble! Thunder exploded, and the heavenly and earthly spiritual chi became even more violent. Above the spiritual lake, 2 more extremely dense purple flowers condensed. Seeing this scene, everyone's eyes widened, their faces filled with disbelief. One of the mid-Golden Core realm heavenly level demon extermination generals exclaimed, 5 chi towards origin in less than 10 breaths. He's already condensed the anomaly manifested by the 5 chi towards origin. At this point, almost all the heavenly level demon extermination generals were no longer calm. What kind of foundation has Lu Yun forged that he could condense the 5 chi towards origin anomaly so quickly? Comparing to that, what I'm even more looking forward to is him breaking the records of ancient people in such a short period, and possibly condensing an even stronger anomaly. Yes, I've never heard of an anomaly beyond the 5 chi towards origin before. The surrounding exclamations were endless, and everyone was overwhelmed with shock. This time, even Gongsun Zhonghong in the void was astonished, and his eyes fell on Lu Yun several times. Before this, Gongsun Zhonghong had believed that Lu Yun would be able to receive the 5 chi towards origin heavenly and earthly feedback. However, completing the anomaly condensation in such a short period far exceeded his expectations. With such a monstrous talent and terrifying foundation, breaking the records of ancient people, perhaps it will be up to him to take on a crucial role in that future event. Gongsun Zhonghong sighed and stared at Lu Yun, who was cultivating cross-legged, with bright, shining eyes. At this moment, Gongsun Zhonghong had decided that no matter what, he must ensure Lu Yun's survival in this battle and make sure he could cultivate to the celestial human realm. Chapter 478. Condense Rune Seeds, Gifts from Heaven and Earth 3. The potential exhibited by Lu Yun had completely moved Gongsun Zhonghong, a revered celestial human. Although Lu Yun had already gained a reputation for his horrifying combat power, it was nothing more than a rumor that Gongsun Zhonghong hadn't witnessed with his own eyes, so he didn't believe it completely. Yet, this time Gongsun Zhonghong saw the phenomenon with his own eyes, and the possibility of Lu Yun even breaking the ancient record made his fearsome combat power and talent absolutely worthy of trust and reliance. Boom! Suddenly, the spiritual sea above Lu Yun's head surged wildly, and one after another, purple flowers were condensed. Surrounding each purple flower were purple hazy vapors with an extremely rich spiritual energy and laws. Some counted, and there were as many as 9 purple flowers in total. Under the fearsome thunder tribulation, these 9 purple flowers rotated incessantly above the spiritual lake, radiating brilliant glows, with laws interweaving and spiritual energy furiously exploding. Gradually, within the vast spiritual lake, pillars of spiritual fluid rose up and poured into the purple flowers surrounded by hazy vapors. As everyone watched, the vast spiritual lake was completely infused into the 9 purple flowers, making their glows even more dazzling, the surrounding hazy vapor denser, and the law aura even more terrifying. The 9 purple flowers rotated rapidly, casting brilliant light that illuminated the area, presenting an astonishing sight that caused many onlookers to stare dumbfoundedly. They had never seen this kind of phenomenon before, nor had they ever heard of it. However, looking at the sight formed in the sky, the shock in their eyes only grew deeper. At this moment, Lu Yun's body slowly began to float, releasing golden light that was incredibly dazzling, like a golden sun radiating endless golden brilliance. The 9 purple flowers spinning quickly above his head suddenly began to merge, reforming into a vast purple flower. What was even more astonishing was that a vast aura of laws constantly emanated from the purple flower. Reunion of 99? Someone suddenly exclaimed in surprise. Looking at the purple flower surrounded by an extremely dense hazy aura and emitting a vast aura of laws, many heavenly-level demon extermination generals couldn't help but gasp, utterly astonished. Lu Yun had truly broken the ancient record, receiving a gift from heaven and earth that surpassed the 5 chi towards origin level. What a terrifying law aura! It's enough to make up for decades of hard cultivation for anyone else. Gongsun Zhonghong watched Lu Yun, who was floating in the air, shocked, with colorful lights flickering in his deep eyes. Nangong Run, another martial academy's saint child, had long been stunned, even though his cultivation had already reached the golden core realm. Both were saint children, and both condensed superior rune seeds, but the natural gifts Nangong Run received were several grades lower compared to Lu Yun's. After the reunion of 99, auspicious clouds appeared in the sky, with purple clouds filling it. The flower emitting the vast law aura merged into Lu Yun's body, fusing with the rune seed interwoven with laws above his yuan high. Lu Yun sat cross-legged in midair, his expression solemn and focused, looking like a parched land receiving rain, instantly full of vitality. At this moment, his body began to undergo a transformation, strengthening his flesh and power several times over their original levels. I have a feeling that all the dust buried deep in my heart has been swept away. My mind is like a Bodhi mirror, untainted by any speck of dust. At this moment, Lu Yun had stopped cultivating. He inspected his sea of consciousness, and found that his sea of consciousness space had changed again, becoming even more expansive, and the gray mist inside had become denser. He looked inward into his body and saw that his flesh, bones, internal organs had all undergone qualitative changes, all glowing with purple-gold radiance, appearing extremely sacred. Afterward, Lu Yun's gaze fell on the panel, checking the changes brought about by condensing rune seeds this time. Name: Lu Yun Force, Flying Spirit Martial Academy Demon Suppression Army Cultivation Technique, Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon Golden Body Episode Perceive Truth, Astonishing Wind Saber Manual 6th Layer, Traceless 100%, Life Destruction Saber Techniques 2nd Layer, Unparalleled Blood Blade 100%, Wind Thunder Manual 3rd Layer, Instant Horizon 100%, Fist Scripture 2nd Layer, Sky Lion Shaking the Sky 100%, Finger Scripture 1st Layer, Formless Tribulation Finger 100%, Sky, Brilliance Thunder Sword True Art 3rd Layer, One Invincible Strike 100%, Innate Talent, Level 10 Mortal Level Limit Martial Arts, Half-step rune seed realm, superior rune seed, energy value, 895,000 automatically increasing by 100 per day, concept. Slaughter conception, 8th stage 1%. Thunder conception, 7th stage 1%. Spatial conception, 7th stage 1%. Skill. Alchemy technique, 7th stage 1%. Talent. White lotus flame, 7th stage 53%. Luck value, 65. Chapter 479. Terrifying Thunder Tribulation, Golden Core Combat Power First. The martial arts realm transformed from the peak of the Golden Body realm to the half-step Rune Seed realm. Next, his innate talent also changed, impressively rising to a 10-star innate talent. Mortal level limit? Lu Yun's gaze was suddenly drawn to the information that appeared behind his innate talent. The 10-star innate talent is merely the limit of the mortal level. Could it be that there are even stronger natural gifts above the 10-star innate talent? Thinking of this, Lu Yun couldn't help but be astonished. As far as he knew, the strongest innate talent in the 12 states of Morijin was only 10 stars. Now Lu Yun had already reached this limit, but suddenly discovered that this was only the limit of the mortal level, and the shock in his heart could not be overstated. However, Lu Yun's vision was not limited to Morijin, so he quickly accepted this fact. At the moment when Lu Yun's rune seeds and the purple flower containing the vast aura of law merged together, his aura was unable to suppress its rise. Rumble, rumble. In the void, terrifying tribulation clouds gathered, and heavenly thunder rolled. Could it be that he just condensed his rune seed and now has to face the 1-3 thunder tribulation? Lu Yun's superior rune seed condensation, which attracted the heavenly phenomenon and received the heavenly gift of reunion of 99, had already shocked the many heavenly demon extermination generals. But now, the regathering of the thunder tribulation in the sky, as well as Lu Yun's rapidly rising aura, left these mysterious golden core realm powerhouses somewhat stunned. It's not good. Lu Yun's rune seed tribulation seems to be a bit unusual. Nangong Rui raised his head and looked at the sky filled with dark clouds and tribulation clouds, his brows furrowed. The 1-3 thunder tribulation was the tribulation punishment that descended upon a martial artist's rune seed tribulation. Even if a heavenly pride condensed a superior rune seed, the tribulation punishment they triggered would still be within the scope of the 1-3 thunder tribulation, although it would be much more terrifying. However, judging from the brewing thunder tribulation in the sky, it seemed that there was not only 3 levels of tribulation, but also a more formidable power that made people feel a scalp-tingling sensation from afar. In contrast to these solemn-faced heavenly demon extermination generals, Lu Yun seemed quite calm. He had experienced an abnormal thunder tribulation when he entered the Golden Body realm, so he had been prepared for a stronger and more terrifying thunder tribulation during his advancement to the Rune Seed realm. Under the horrifying tribulation clouds, Lu Yun stood in the void, with his black hair shining like silk and fluttering in the wind. The thunder's tribulation descended all of a sudden. In an instant, Lu Yun's body trembled. Inside his body, endless golden energy blood boiled, forming a golden mist. It carried a vast power that seemed to suppress heaven and earth. The golden brilliance intertwined with the purple tribulation force, and Lu Yun stood unmoving in the ocean of thunderbolts. It's time to improve the thunder conception. Lu Yun not only didn't fear the thunder tribulation but also treated it as a resource for improving his thunder conception. Rumble, rumble. The thunder tribulation continued to bombard, but it was unable to harm Lu Yun's golden body, merely causing his figure to tremble slightly. This is simply a monster. These heavenly demon extermination generals, who were all powerhouses in the Golden Core realm, were stunned and speechless at the sight of Lu Yun's tribulation crossing method. Before they faced their own tribulation, they had prepared everything thoroughly and had various items ready to deal with the tribulation. Under the thunder tribulation, they were even more terrified, afraid of falling. However, Lu Yun not only showed no fear, but he also treated the tribulation as a resource to smelt and enhance his attitude. No wonder the heavenly gift he received when condensing superior rune seeds far exceeded his predecessors. Lu Yun really deserves it, Nangong Run said solemnly. The others all shook their heads and smiled bitterly. Nangong Run's natural talent was far superior to theirs, but it merely made them envious. Lu Yun's talent, however, made them feel that their Tao heart was collapsing. At this time, they also suddenly understood that when condensing a superior rune seed, it was not only to prevent interference from those below the Golden Core realm. The most important reason was to prevent damaging their martial arts spirit. Refine it for me. Lu Yun pulled in his hands, and the sky was filled with golden light. Countless lightning bolts fell on his body. As the power of thunderbolts flowed throughout his body, the thunder conception on his panel rapidly increased. Thunder conception upgraded to 7th level 2%. Thunder conception upgraded to 7th level 3%. Thunder conception upgraded to 7th level 7%. The first wave of thunder tribulation raised the thunder conception from the beginning of level 7 to 7%, with a level of efficiency that even Lu Yun was surprised by. At the same time, after absorbing the tribulation power from the thunder tribulation, the rune seed in the Yuan Hai became even more tenacious, and it merged with the purple flower condensed from the vast spiritual power and laws at an increasingly faster speed. Those observing Lu Yun's tribulation crossing could see from afar that one after another, laws interweaved around the void where Lu Yun was, emitting a terrifying and powerful aura. 1, 2 Some people carefully counted the emerging law runes and were surprised to find that they numbered more than 120. However, the law runes were moving so swiftly intertwined with powerful aura, and there were so many of them that it made people's eyes dizzy, so they did not arrive at an exact result. Finally, the first wave of thunder tribulation was completely consumed, and the sky filled with dark tribulation clouds became even more terrifying. In the gap between the converging thunderclouds, Lu Yun took the opportunity to check the changes in his rune seed. At this moment, the rune seed became extremely solid, and the law runes that pervaded it also underwent changes. Chapter 480. Terrifying Thunder Tribulation, Golden Core Combat Power _2 Each of Lu Yun's law runes initially only had one golden line. However, after absorbing the tribulation power and merging with the laws in the purple flower, the number of lines on each rune increased by tenfold. The rune seed realm is all about continuously strengthening the laws in the runes. The more laws a rune contains, the stronger it is. Typically amongst mid-level rune seed realm practitioners, each rune would contain no more than 10 laws. Yet, even before his thunder tribulation was complete, Lu Yun's runes had as many laws as those of other mid-level rune seed realm practitioners, which was truly terrifying. However, the rune seed Lu Yun was refining was an unprecedented superior rune seed, the number of which dwarfed those in a normal rune seed realm by several times. Under everyone's expectant and shocked gazes, the second wave of thunder tribulation was finally ready. A howl rang out. The vast thunder tribulation transformed into numerous demon beasts, tigers, lions, huge wolves, all wildly roaring in the dark sea of clouds. Anomalous thunder tribulation. As expected, it's an anomalous thunder tribulation. Nangong Run seemed to be slightly at a loss for words at this moment. From his understanding, when an individual's talent or foundation exceeded a certain limit and they broke through a major realm, the induced thunder tribulation would be far more ferocious. Average heavenly prides might not even be able to survive a single blow. At this time, the gaze of Gongsun Zhonghong also shifted subtly, and a powerful aura radiated from him. Lu Yun, if you can't withstand it, you can tell me. I can help you protect your cultivation. Some heavenly prides and saint children, when inducing particularly terrifying thunder tribulations and without possessing powerful treasures or skills to cross them, had to seek assistance from stronger individuals or elders to help them traverse the tribulation. The second wave of thunder tribulation triggered by Lu Yun was clearly substantially more formidable than those induced by mere heavenly prides, based on the scene of dark clouds covering the sky alone. Nevertheless, facing such a terrifying thunder tribulation, Lu Yun's handsome face remained as calm as water, his eyes devoid of any disturbance. Army Commander Gongsun, there's no need for that. Such a small thunder tribulation is hardly worth mentioning. I can handle it on my own. Hearing Lu Yun's words, Gongsun Zhonghong gave a faint smile. The heavenly level demon extermination generals observing the tribulation were all dumbstruck. Gongsun Zhonghong, one of the vice commanders of the demon suppression army, held a high position and terrifying strength, almost standing at the peak of Meridian's hierarchy. At this moment, he appeared to be expressing goodwill towards Lu Yun, leaving the others confused. Only Nangong Run, who gave Gongsun Zhonghong a meaningful glance, understood the underlying reason as one of the saint children. At that moment, the demon beasts transformed from the thunder tribulation finally started roaring out from the sea of cloud. Their terrifying aura shook the heavens, causing people to shudder. Lu Yun looked up, a smile on his face and full of spirit, showing absolutely no fear of these terrifying thunder beasts. A thunder tiger slammed into Lu Yun, pouring its terrifying thunder tribulation directly into Lu Yun's body, causing him to stagger slightly. Following this, a thunder wolf and thunder lion attacked from all directions, landing their blows on Lu Yun one after another. Soon, it was evident that the space where Lu Yun was had turned into a wild and terrifying realm of thunder, where almost no breath could be sensed. This terrifying thunder tribulation, can Lu Yun actually withstand it? One of the heavenly level demon extermination generals gasped in horror. Being a golden core realm powerhouse, he could feel the power of this thunder tribulation, which was almost comparable to the tribulation he himself faced when advancing to the golden core realm. Boom! The thunder beasts transformed from the second wave of thunder tribulation were around 10,000 in number. They ceaselessly slammed into Lu Yun, turning the surrounding hundreds of miles of void into an ocean of thunder. The volatile force completely masked all aura, leaving the spectators worried as they could no longer sense Lu Yun's aura. However, seeing the ever-composed Gongsun Zhonghong, they quickly understood that the thunder tribulation likely hadn't caused any life-threatening danger to Lu Yun. Otherwise, based on Gongsun Zhonghong's previous display, he would definitely not just sit by and do nothing. Within the endless thunderous torrents and among the myriad thunder beasts, Lu Yun's body and breath began to undergo rapid transformation. Besides that, the amount of laws on his runes increased significantly. The increase in the number of laws on his runes rendered them even more robust and powerful. The countless tribulation power forges my immortal rune seed. Lu Yun was madly absorbing the power from the thunder tribulation, strengthening the vast rune seed in his Yuan Hai. Gradually, Lu Yun absorbed all the tribulation power from the endless thunder tribulation, perfectly integrating it into his rune seed. Along with the increase in the number of laws, Lu Yun's aura elevated progressively. Although Lu Yun was just at the early phase of the rune seed realm, the unintentional release of his aura was even more terrifying than that of those at the peak of the rune seed realm. He actually passed the second wave of thunder tribulation unscathed. We must have underestimated him. Some heavenly level demon extermination generals shook their heads and sighed with a bitter smile. After the second thunder tribulation ended, the third one began to rapidly brew. Its speed was much faster than the previous one, as if unwilling to give Lu Yun any time to recover. Boom! Even before the thunder tribulation struck, the dark sea of clouds in the sky was churning wildly, with terrifying thunder beasts taking shape within. Roar! Suddenly, a purple thunder dragon spiraled out from the sea of clouds. Its massive body trembled, causing the void to quiver slightly. Seeing this purple thunder dragon, Lu Yun's expression turned serious. Clearly, he was feeling a certain level of pressure at this point. It seems that the heavens do not wish for me to pass the tribulation peacefully, Lu Yun thought to himself. Chapter 481. Terrifying Thunder Tribulation, Golden Core Combat Power _3. This thunder-condensed dragon emitted an aura that could almost rival that of a true Golden Core realm expert. Under the boost of the Thunder Tribulation, it was even not weaker than a genuine Golden Core realm powerhouse. This goes to show how terrifying the third wave of Thunder Tribulation is. The Golden Core realm experts who were there to observe were truly speechless this time. Is this still a 1 to 3 Thunder Tribulation 1? Their 2 to 6 Heavenly Tribulation during their promotion to the Golden Core realm was merely like this. Hiss, hiss. The tribulation cloud was continuously rolling, and the lightning snakes were rolling in the tribulation cloud, surrounding the purple flood dragon. Suddenly, an immense pressure was borne towards Lu Yun below, and in an instant, he felt that the power of the whole space became extremely wild. Even breathing was somewhat difficult, as if there was a huge mountain on his chest. By absorbing this last wave of tribulation power, my rune seed should be able to stabilize and be solidified completely. Facing such a terrifying thunder tribulation, Lu Yun was most looking forward to using the tribulation power to enhance himself. Boom! A loud thunderclap. A dozen thick purple lightning bolts, like flood dragons, twisted downward, and then carried an unstoppable terrifying momentum, rushing toward the ark in the air, as if god-slaying demons with incredibly formidable power. Lu Yun let go of all his defenses and allowed the thunder flood dragon to strike his body. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Several wounds appeared on Lu Yun's body in an instant, and a head of extremely dark hair was instantly electrocuted upright by the thunderbolt. After experiencing several breakthroughs, each strand of hair on his head was extremely tough, comparable to steel. But under such a terrifying thunder tribulation, it appeared exceptionally fragile, and it quickly perished in the thunderbolt. With the rolling thunderclap, the huge thunder dragon in the black tribulation cloud was still growing in power, and it slowly opened its eyes. Not good, the thunder tribulation is still getting stronger. Lu Yun was shocked. He could clearly remember that during his last confrontation with the sect master of Netherworld sect, the other party's full outburst seemed not as powerful as this thunder dragon. The moment the eyes of the thunder dragon opened, countless purple thunderbolts wriggled down from the sky like divine dragons, carrying a world-shattering momentum, and brazenly bombarded Lu Yun. Ha! Lu Yun took a deep breath, then golden light filled his entire body. Runes intertwined, and he soared up into the sky, actively confronting the terrifying thunder dragon. Boom! Rumble! Consecutive crashing sounds occurred, and Lu Yun's entire body was directly smashed from the void and heavily crashed into the mountain. The thunder dragon continued its unstoppable rampage and directly shattered the giant mountain, which was 1,000 feet tall. Thunderbolts erupted, and the destructive and violent power spread throughout the world. Countless towering trees were burned black by the thunderbolt. This thunder tribulation is too terrifying. Lu Yun Kant, a 7th-rank heavenly-level demon extermination general, who was in the middle stage of the Golden Core realm, was about to sigh when his pupils suddenly shrank. But a golden light suddenly appeared in his sight, and it was Lu Yun who had once again faced the mighty and unparalleled Thunder Dragon. Golden Core Realm's Thunder Dragon, it's nothing more than this. Lu Yun spread his hands wide apart, and a huge, terrifying rune seed suddenly appeared. More than 100 dazzling runes shone on it, forming golden rune chains that entwined around the Thunder Dragon. The purple flood dragon formed by the terrifying torrent of thunderbolts roared and struggled madly, but it couldn't break free. In an instant, countless gray tribulation powers were plucked from the thunder dragon and quickly poured into the rune seed. This is simply a monster. This was the first time Nangong Run spoke out. Until now, he had never seen anyone absorb the tribulation power from the thunder tribulation like this. Watching Lu Yun, whose aura was constantly rising, a glimmer of brilliance flashed in Gongsun Zonghong's eyes. He is indeed worthy of reliance and trust. Finally, the purple thunder dragon, comparable to a golden core realm expert, slowly dissipated in the void with an unwilling roar, and the pitch-black tribulation cloud in the sky also gradually receded. Heaven and earth finally regained their brightness. Lu Yun's harvest was also very pleasing. First of all, his cultivation directly soared to the limit of the early stage of Rune Seed Realm, with an extremely solid foundation. This was still the result of him desperately suppressing it, otherwise, he would have no problem breaking through to the late stage of Rune Seed Realm in one fell swoop. Besides his realm, Lu Yun's body also underwent a transformation. With the help of this thunder tribulation tempering, his physical strength doubled again. And of course, the thunder conception also increased to 7th rank 35%. Every time the 7th rank thunder conception progresses, it consumes 10,000 energy points. This time, it helped me save more than 300,000 energy points. Thinking of this, Lu Yun's mouth slightly curved into an arc. However, this movement caused a pain in his body that made him gasp, and he quickly activated the vital energy in his body to rapidly recover from his injuries. After advancing from the Golden Body Realm to the Rune Seed Realm, the vital energy in Lu Yun's body became even stronger. With merely a small portion being used, his injuries began to heal quickly. Moreover, the bald head also grew dense, dark hair again. This hair was much stronger and of higher quality than before, in both hardness and quality. It could be said that any single strand of hair on Lu Yun's head now could be used as a sharp weapon. The many Golden Core realm experts saw that Lu Yun had smoothly passed the thunder tribulation, and as he was still sitting in the void, they extinguished their ideas of sharing and left one after another. As of now, the battle situation was tense, and they could not stay in the Demon Suppression Army camp at all times. They had to take turns with other heavenly-level demon extermination generals. As for Gongsun Zonghong, his figure disappeared in the void after Lu Yun safely passed the tribulation. With his departure, the golden barriers that stretched across the earth also vanished. Chapter 482. Two divine abilities. The thunder tribulation of Lu Yun's advancement to Rune Seed Realm came to a close amidst this tumultuous shock and awe. Many powerful heavenly-level demon extermination generals, their faces still filled with amazement as they left, had yet to recover from the shock. Whether it was Lu Yun condensing superior rune seeds, receiving the gift of reunion of 99 from the will of heaven and earth, or the terrifying combat power he demonstrated when weathering the tribulation of the rune seeds, all of it had left these experts at the apex of the martial arts pyramid astounded and incredulous. Even some of these heavenly-level demon extermination generals murmured that with the strength displayed by Lu Yun, they doubted it would be much inferior to their own. In a few months or within a year and a half, he would surpass these older generations. But regardless, all the experts who witnessed Lu Yun's condensing of rune seeds and his powerful tribulation crossing today understood that in the upcoming battlefield, a new superstar would rise. In the near future, the Morijin Demon Suppression Army will see the emergence of a celestial human powerhouse, standing tall like the pillar of the sky. The Golden Core experts all retreated, each to their own duties. The celestial experts' blockade vanished, and Lu Yun, sitting cross-legged in midair, came into full view of the Demon Suppression Army in the camp. However, his body was continually shrouded in golden light, obscuring the sight of others. And so, time passed leisurely. Various powerful beings stayed in the Demon Suppression Army's camp, coming and going, and an innumerable number of martial artists fell on the endless battlefield every day, all of which was unknown to Lu Yun. He kept refining and consuming the feedback of the will of heaven and earth. After 3 days, he had finally digested the feedback from the will of the heavens and earth, and as agreed, his cultivation had broken through to the midterm of the Rune Seed realm. At this point, the rune seed above his yuan high had become more round and expansive, its law aura more intense than before by several folds at least. 175 runes. Each one had at least 100 law patterns. The most powerful rune among them had a staggering 135 law patterns. Such a vast and powerful rune made Lu Yun's strength unprecedentedly powerful. While his strength increased rapidly, he needed some cultivation techniques to fully utilize it. So, Lu Yun did not immediately end his cultivation, but began to comprehend his own rune seed divine ability. Obviously, this process was long and without opportunity. Even with his innate talent, there was no guarantee of immediate success. Right, when I joined the Demon Suppression Army, didn't Wei Tianluan give me a rune seed containing a divine ability? Thinking of this, Lu Yun's eyes lit up, and he promptly took it out. A radiant light flickered, and a white, crystalline, and mysterious rune seed appeared in his sight. Runes pervaded its surface, intertwining with the vast power of the law, much like white jade, floating in front of Lu Yun. The divine ability contained in this rune seed was a comprehension in fragmentary form. Thousands of fragments were contained in it, all disorganized. This was like a giant comprehension puzzle of tens of thousands of pieces. Only by comprehending and combining them one by one could they form a complete comprehension and figure out the divine ability contained within. So, even with a rune seed, it wasn't easy to comprehend the divine ability within. It required both opportunity and personal insight. Of course, this was easier compared to relying solely on one's own potential and talent to comprehend their divine ability. It must be said that after increasing his innate talent to level 10, Lu Yun's gifts and insights greatly improved. In just over 2 days, he had comprehended all the fragments of the divine ability in the rune seed. Next, what needed to be done was to connect them to form his own rune seed divine ability. Another 2 days passed, and suddenly, in the sky above the Demon Suppression Army's camp, powerful runes began to fly about and shimmer, their law aura spreading and weaving in the void. This spectacle lasted for 3 days and 2 nights without stopping. Whenever someone comprehends a divine ability, it causes an anomaly in the heavens and earth. I wonder who the lucky one is who has mastered a rune seed divine ability, mused these demon extermination generals resting in the camp who were fortunate enough to witness this scene, with inevitable envy. Suddenly, a faint sound came from the void, growing louder and louder. Hum. A sudden sword hum reverberated, echoing between heaven and earth. In the camp, all the weapons in the hands of the Demon Suppression Army trembled uncontrollably as if responding to a call. What powerful saber intent! Hong Xinghua's face underwent a severe change. He had just returned from the battlefield, and as soon as he entered the camp, he felt the anomaly in the heaven and earth, immediately knowing that someone had comprehended a rune seed divine ability. Soon after, he felt a terrifying saber intent among the countless sword hums, dominating and unrivaled, full of killing intent. He had seen many saber cultivation experts, but he had never seen such overbearing and deadly saber intent. Despite having not yet witnessed the power of this divine ability, the saber intent alone was enough for him to understand that the sky and the earth were the domain of the divine ability, which was about to come into the world, would not be inferior to the potential of his magnetic giant peak. The sword humming persisted. The anomaly in the sky and earth did not cease until the sun set and the moon rose, when the anomaly finally disappeared. Lu Yun opened his eyes and a dazzling saber chi flitted by in front of his eyes, which exploded with a crack. The terrifying power shredded the lingering gray mist in the air into dust. Regarding the twist and turn in front of him, Lu Yun took no notice of it and instead focused on the panel. Name, Lu Yun. Chapter 483, 2 Divine Abilities _2 Influence. Flying Spirit Martial Academy, Demon Suppression Army Cultivation Technique. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon, Rune Seed Chapter, Small Achievement 12%. Astonishing Wind Saber Manual, 6th Layer. traceless 100%, can merge, life destruction saber techniques, second layer. Unparalleled blood blade 100%, can merge, wind thunder manual, third layer. Instant horizon 100%, fist scripture, second layer. Sky lion shaking the sky 100%, finger. Scripture, first layer. Formless tribulation finger 100%, sky brilliance thunder sword true art, third layer. One invincible strike 100%, heaven and earth draw saber slash, pre-entry, can upgrade, innate talent, 10 stars, mortal level limit. Martial arts. Rune seed mid-level, energy value, 895,000, automatically increases by 100 per day, conception. Slaughter conception, 8th stage 1%, thunder conception, 7th stage 35 degrees per degree, spatial conception, 7th stage 1%. Skill. Alchemy technique, 7th stage 1%. Gift, white lotus flame, 7th stage 53%. Luck value. 77. At this time, a divine ability suddenly appeared on the panel, precisely heaven and earth draw saber slash. Furthermore, the originally unmergeable astonishing wind saber manual and life destruction saber techniques appeared with a remark that they could be merged. For a moment, Lu Yun almost thought he was seeing things wrong, but after looking again, he found that they could indeed be merged. Since that's the case, I'll try merging them and see. Lu Yun's eyes flickered, and he immediately made up his mind. Merge. Lu Yun moved his thoughts, and the two saber techniques immediately entered the merging process. Boom. Above the demon suppression army camp, the sky and earth once again had a strange phenomenon, causing many people to be affected and had to stop what they were doing, going out to look at the sky. It was still the saber-ringing sound that echoed through the heavens and the earth, but it caused a much greater commotion than the last time. Saber intent, and an even more powerful one. Has his divine ability undergone another transformation? Hong Xinghua's voice was inexplicable, and he looked at Lu Yun, who was cultivating in the void, with a shocked expression on his face. At this point, he had learned that Lu Yun had condensed superior rune seeds, passed through the thunder tribulation, and become a true rune seed realm. Is this the power of a rune seed's divine ability? It can even make my treasured saber tremble. It really is incredible. Lu Yun, this guy, is indeed a monster. He just condensed the rune seed and caused a terrifying thunder tribulation. Now, he has realized the divine ability of the rune seed. In the camp, some of the strong were full of shock, while others were filled with longing. Divine ability, for the majority of the rune seed realm, was a very rare existence. Only a few golden core realm powerhouses could casually view it, as they had mostly advanced to the golden core realm by relying on top-grade rune seed. It was impossible to advance to the golden core realm with low-grade rune seed. Middle-grade rune seeds, only with a chance opportunity, could possibly advance to the golden core. Therefore, among the golden core realm powerhouses, most of them mastered divine abilities, and seeing the heavenly phenomena, they were not too surprised. The only thing that shocked them was that Lu Yun had just broken through to the rune seed realm and realized the divine ability so quickly. But when they thought about Lu Yun's terrifying accumulation, it all seemed inevitable. I knew it, Lu Yun is not a calm person. This proves it. Wei Zongqing, who was covered in injuries, returned to the camp and saw the strange phenomenon in the sky. He heard from others that it was triggered by Lu Yun and smiled bitterly. Not long ago, Lu Yun had caused quite a stir on the battlefield, leading two golden core realm powerhouses to appear on the rune seed realm battlefields, and they engaged in a fierce fight. It lasted 2 days and 2 nights before it came to an end. During this period, many rune seed realm and gold body realm cultivators were implicated. Now that Lu Yun entered the demon suppression army camp, he was still restless and causing commotion from time to time. Shaking his head slightly, Wei Zongqing went to find a place to seclude himself and recover. The injuries he sustained this time were heavier than any previous injuries. His gold Bodis vitality was almost exhausted, and the law in his rune seed was nearly depleted. With such injuries, there was no time to waste, so he left in a hurry without greeting Lu Yun. Name: Lu Yun. Influence: Flying Spirit Martial Academy, Demon Suppression Army. Cultivation Technique: Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon, Rune Seed Chapter, Small Achievement 12%, Wind Thunder Manual, 3rd Layer, Instant Horizon 100%, Fist Scripture, 2nd Layer, Sky Lion Shaking the Sky 100%, Finger Scripture, 1st Layer, Formless Tribulation Finger 100%, Sky Brilliance Thunder Sword True Art, 3rd Layer, 1 Invincible Strike 100%, Demon Slaying God Killing Saber, Divine Ability Level 1, Heaven and Earth Draw Saber / Pre-Entry, Innate Talent, 10 stars, Mortal Level Limit, Martial Arts. Rune Seed Mid-Level Energy Value, 395,000 automatically increases by 100 per day, Conception, Slaughter Conception, 8th Stage 1%, Thunder Conception, 7th Stage 35%, Spatial Conception, 7th Stage 1%. Skill: Alchemy Technique, 7th Stage 1%. Gift: White Lotus Flame, 7th Stage 53%. Luck Value: 77. Demon Slaying God Killing Saber. Lu Yun recalled the memory in his mind and finally opened his eyes. The Demon Slaying God Killing Saber is a divine ability formed by merging the Astonishing Wind Saber Manual and Life Destruction Saber Technique. Merging this divine ability consumed a total of 500,000 energy value. However, the results were good. The Demon Slaying God Killing Saber had skipped the pre-entry stage and directly entered the first level. Lu Yun speculated that it was quite likely because he had cultivated both techniques to an extremely high level, naturally entering the first level after merging. Looking at the two divine abilities on the panel, Lu Yun was very satisfied. Now that he had two divine abilities, he had surpassed 99% of the Rune Seed Realm cultivators. The only regret was that the other cultivation techniques could not be merged into divine abilities. Chapter 484. Two divine abilities _3. But Lu Yun was not in a hurry, as sword techniques and fist techniques could also be merged into divine abilities. The fusion of divine abilities consumes too much energy, and it also takes energy to upgrade later. With my current pace of acquiring energy, I can't keep up with the consumption. There's no need to fuse new divine abilities for now. The Heaven and Earth Draw Saber / and Demon Slaying God Killing Saber, these two divine abilities, should be enough for me to use. Lu Yun looked at his own panel and thought to himself, because of the accumulation of his majestic prowess and the gifts from heaven and earth, his promotion to the mid-stage of the Rune Seed Realm didn't consume any energy points. Nowadays, with the foundation of the Gold Body Realm and the gifts from heaven and earth exhausted, the advancement of the Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon requires a large amount of energy points. Thinking of this, Lu Yun already had the idea of ending his seclusion. Only on the battlefield could he quickly collect trophies and accumulate energy points. Last time, if it wasn't for being pursued by a Golden Core Realm powerhouse, he would have definitely fought till the end before voluntarily leaving the battlefield. Now, with his strength greatly enhanced, he had the idea of rejoining the battlefield. After promoting the Heaven and Earth Draw Saber / to the first level of divine abilities, he'll join the battlefield again. With the remaining energy points insufficient to upgrade the Heaven and Earth Draw Saber / he sorted out the spiritual objects he had collected and began refining pills. Being at level 7 alchemy technique, he naturally mastered the refining of some 6th grade pills. Not long after, he had more than 100 6th grade pills in front of him, 90% of which were top quality pills with pill patterns. Spending half a day to completely refine them, his energy points broke through the 1 million mark again, reaching 1,160,000. This was because his promotion to the Rune Seed realm had led to the reduced effectiveness of the 6th grade pills. With a thought, 500,000 energy points were suddenly deducted. In an instant, Lu Yun felt his soul being drawn by an inexplicable force. The scene changed. Darkness, the ultimate darkness. Just as Lu Yun was feeling this mysterious situation, a ray of light suddenly rose from the depths of the darkness. Wherever the light passed, darkness dissipated. When his soul landed on this light, he immediately felt a domineering and unparalleled intent. It was saber intent, pure and powerful beyond compare. At the same time, this streak of light that tore through the heavens and earth was a saber light that cut through time and space. Lu Yun was firmly attracted to this saber light, as if he had merged with it. With its ultimate speed, the saber light cut through layers of darkness, annihilating everything in its path. Boom! Darkness receded, revealing a scene of the reopening of heaven and earth, as well as the great drama of creation. Buzz! In his sea of consciousness, this terrifying saber intent suddenly swept across, intertwining with another saber intent, forming 2 blood-red dragons, flying towards the blood-red lotus seed. Boom! After the intense collision and merging, the lotus petals swayed, exuding an extremely rich saber chi and blood-red killing intent. In an instant, Lu Yun felt his sea of consciousness once again expand, and his spiritual power reached an unprecedented peak. Once again, focusing his mind, he looked at the panel and saw that the slaughter conception had indeed been promoted to the 8th stage, 41%. My slaughter conception has always been based on saber cultivation. Now, due to the comprehension of saber cultivation divine abilities, my saber intent has surged. After merging it, my slaughter conception has also experienced explosive growth. Lu Yun's eyes sparkled. Now that the slaughter conception had been enhanced again, it would inevitably lead to another transformation of his martial arts will, giving him the true power of the Golden Core realm. Of course, he had not yet faced a true Golden Core realm powerhouse. It's time to go to the battlefield. Lu Yun's gaze suddenly turned towards the distant gray void. Chapter 485. Invincible, instantly killing peak of Rune Seed realm. Tens of thousands of miles away from the endless battlefield was Wind Mountain, where over 20 martial artists of the Golden Core realm gathered within a camp. Among them, 3 exuded extremely powerful auras, seemingly fused with the heavens and earth, and had clearly reached the peak of the Golden Core realm. In front of them stood an aged and withered elder. This elder had no discernible aura, and seemed no different from an ordinary old man, yet all the Golden Core experts looked at him with respect. The elder looked at one of the peak Golden Core experts and said indifferently, "Black Witch, you just came from the Northfield battlefront. How is the situation there?" The Golden Core expert known as Black Witch spoke solemnly, reporting to Venerable, "The demon suppression army on the Northfield battlefront is terrifyingly powerful. They have 2 Celestials Venerable overseeing the battle, with no less than 50 Golden Core experts and an army of 3 million soldiers. I'm afraid it won't last much longer. Qin Shan Venerable ordered me to come and seek reinforcements." "What? There are 2 Celestial Venerables stationed at the Northfield battlefront, deployed only by the demon suppression army?" Upon hearing the news, the Golden Core experts' expressions changed slightly with a solemn look on their faces. If the Northfield battlefront collapses, the status quo they have been maintaining here would be at risk of being overturned. Only the elder remained calm and asked indifferently, "How are your casualties, and how long can you keep it up?" In the past few months, 5 Golden Core experts and nearly 100 Rune Seed experts have been killed by the Demon Suppression Army. Countless martial artists from other levels were also killed. However, we have only killed 2 of their Golden Core experts. Black Witch spoke with a hoarse voice. "I'm worried that our casualties will be heavier in the next few battles." "Why is the casualty rate of our Golden Core experts so high?" One of the Golden Core experts asked curiously, while the others also seemed puzzled. Black Witch glanced at the crowd and said solemnly, "Our Golden Core experts may not be much weaker than the Demon Suppression Army one-on-one, but the enemy has 2 Celestial Venerables, while our side has only Qin Shan Venerable, who can't take care of everything during a battle." Hearing this, the Golden Core experts nodded. Even though Qin Shan Venerable is an experienced Celestial, they were powerless to face 2 opponents at the same time. Moreover, the fact that the situation in the Northfield battlefront has lasted this long is already quite difficult to achieve. "Venerable, if we don't receive reinforcements, we can only hold out on the Northfield battlefront for up to half a month." Black Witch looked at the elder in front of him and spoke gravely. The pressure on Qin Shan indeed seems to be weighing heavily. The elder gazed at the gloomy void in the distance and spoke slowly. "From the Golden Core experts to the ordinary martial artists, everyone must be deployed to the battlefield and finish the battle within half a month to support the Northfield battlefront." Upon hearing these words, the numerous Golden Core experts exchanged glances, their expressions turning solemn. They had also been in a stalemate with the Demon Suppression Army here for several months and knew that the top combat power of the other side was not weaker than theirs. It was easier said than done to end the battle within half a month. However, since the Venerable had given the order, they had no choice but to obey. "Venerable, I, Black Witch, am willing to be a vanguard." The elder nodded slightly. Gongsun Zhonghong sat in midair above the Demon Suppression Army camp. Suddenly, he sensed something and his eyes snapped open. As expected, you couldn't sit still after finding out about the situation in the Northfield battlefront. Immediately, his majestic figure suddenly stood up, emanating a vast golden light before descending towards the earth below. "By my order, gather every last breath of the Demon Suppression Army and deploy everyone to the battlefield." His booming voice sounded like thunder, echoing in the ears and hearts of the people below. "Ha ha ha, after all these days of cultivation, my strength has improved a lot. I'm sure I'll kill some strong enemies once again. Sigh, I didn't expect the decisive battle to come so quickly and I haven't fully recovered from my injury." For a time, there was pandemonium in the Demon Suppression Army camp. The final battle has finally arrived. It's time to decide the outcome. Zhuoyang's heart turned cold and he growled, "Give the order, get ready! Get ready! Get ready!" One command after another was passed through the vast camp. Within a quarter of an hour, all the Demon Suppression Army who were resting, cultivating, and recovering from their injuries came out of the camp and formed various battle formations. Above each formation hovered lower-ranked Earth-rank demon extermination generals. Lu Yun was among them. He had just finished his cultivation and was about to set off when he encountered this scene. "Set off!" The huge and resounding voice echoed in the void, with numerous Golden Core experts transforming into rainbows and disappearing into the void. "Set off!" Earth-rank demon extermination generals issued their orders and led the Demon Suppression Army to the battlefield. Rumble! The massive Demon Suppression Army surged forward, causing the ground to shake violently. Although there weren't as many Demon Suppression Army troops in the camp as there were on the battlefield, there were nearly 1,000,000 soldiers now heading out. Led by those rune seed experts, they quickly entered the battlefield. The Demon Suppression Army will be victorious. Victorious! The Demon Suppression Army entered the battlefield like a torrent of rivers, causing the already colossal battlefield to become even more crowded. Kill, kill! On the other side, the martial artists of the Red Moon Demon Sect and the 9 Nether Demon Sect factions roared with fury and soaring battle intent. Long knives swung, true origins poured out, and martial art techniques were used without restraint. They knew that this battle must be won, and could not be lost. Chapter 486. Invincible, instantly killing peak of Rune Seed Realm _2 Otherwise, all that awaits them is death. If that's the case, why should they fear death? The martial artists of the Red Moon Demon Sect and 9 Nether Demon Sect have a strong belief, but compared to the Demon Suppression Army, they are still somewhat lacking. Every member of the Demon Suppression Army has emerged from the countless martial artists of Morijin after experiencing numerous tribulations. They've grown slowly with their unyielding spirit and lack of fear towards death. Although the Demon Suppression Army may not have the best talent, their willpower is definitely the most resolute. Under the force of both sides, corpses pile up in the battlefield, blood flows like rivers, and a whiff of crimson aura rises to the sky, turning the originally gray sky into a bloody red. In the distant void, the strong sea beasts watch the suddenly transformed battlefield with an inexplicable sense of fear in their hearts. When the 100 sects first entered the coastal area, they fought fiercely with the sea beasts without fearing death, eventually forcing the sea beast tribe to withdraw from the coastal area and return to their undersea world. The intensity of the current battlefield even surpasses that of the past. We see clan are not united, and the human race also has infighting. One day we will surely regain this land, a middle-aged man with a domineering face said indifferently in the void. Clan Master, we believe that day will come soon, a group of gigantic sea beasts echoed behind him. In the sky, 3 figures hovered like divine beings. Brother Wei, Brother Hong, I hope that after this battle, I can still see you both unharmed. Lu Yun looked at the intense battlefield with a solemn expression, addressing Wei Zongqing and Hong Xingwu. He had a premonition that this battle would be extremely fierce. Millions of Demon Suppression Army soldiers would likely suffer heavy casualties, and even the Rune Seed Realm experts like Wei Zongqing would face great danger. Don't worry, I have a big life, I will definitely survive to the end, Wei Zongqing said with a smile, showing no signs of fear. Brother Lu, please take care as well, Hong Xingwu said to Lu Yun solemnly. In his opinion, Lu Yun had already been targeted by many Golden Core Realm experts, and the dangers he was about to face were even more grave than theirs. Because the final battle was coming, and the experts from both sides were all taking the stage. This meant that more Golden Core Realm experts would be able to target and attack Lu Yun. All right. Lu Yun nodded heavily and then transformed into a beam of light, rushing into the void battlefield. At this moment, Lu Yun's strength had increased not just once or twice as much as before, but several times. Similarly, his speed had also greatly increased. When he unleashed his full power, it was not weaker than that of a Golden Core Realm expert. That young man is back. Some of the elite forces of the Red Moon Demon sect and 9 Nether Demon sect changed their expressions when they saw Lu Yun's figure. They had previously witnessed Lu Yun's prowess as he killed more than a dozen Rune Seed Realm experts in front of them. Even the Great Elder of the Netherworld sect, a peak Rune Seed Realm expert, was killed by him. In the end, the Netherworld sect master Yin Wujie had to personally take action, severely injuring Lu Yun and forcing him to leave the battlefield. Now that he had returned, he seemed even more formidable, causing them to feel a sense of fear in their hearts. Humph, no matter how monstrous he can't possibly surpass the Rune Seed Realm, said one of the formidable Rune Seed Realm experts coldly, his eyes filled with murderous intent as he stared at Lu Yun who was quickly approaching. In my entire life, I, Song Jiangluan, have been fond of killing geniuses the most, said a blood-or-enveloped expert with malicious laughter as he licked his lips. Ha ha, count me in too, a mountain-like fat man added with a loud laugh. These experts were all at least at the peak of the Rune Seed Realm, and they have killed numerous Rune Seed Realm experts over the past few months, their killing intent soaring. Having only seen glimpses of Lu Yun on the battlefield, they did not take him seriously. In their eyes, Lu Yun had only killed one peak Rune Seed Realm expert. They, on the other hand, had survived to this point with their hands stained with the blood of countless peak Rune Seed Realm experts. Therefore, they were not very impressed by the reputed Lu Yun. Seeing Lu Yun's arrival now, they all competed to take action against him. You're courting death. Cold flashes flickered in Lu Yun's eyes. With a wave of his hands, 10 rays of light shot out like lightning bolt. In an instant, 4 Rune Seed Realm experts had their skulls and hearts pierced. Blood splattered, and limbs flew around. These flying swords were gained by Lu Yun after he killed the law enforcement elder of the Profound Darkness sect. The weakest of them were top-grade mysterious weapons, with 3 of them being superior profound artifacts. In Lu Yun's hands, their power was immensely formidable. They could not be stopped by even late-stage Rune Seed Realm experts, let alone those who just entered the realm. Only peak Rune Seed Realm experts could try to block them by going all out. Remember, the one who will kill you, Lu Yun, is me, Song Jiangluan. The peak Rune Seed Realm figure, shrouded in a sea of blood, approached with terrifying power. Lu Yun is mine, Wang Dalu. No one can take him from me. The mountainous fatty didn't want to give up, grabbing a large hammer and attacking first. Lu Yun's previous action of instantly killing 4 Rune Seed Realm warriors did not scare them. On the contrary, it aroused their killing intent. In an instant, 5 peerless experts attacked Lu Yun. Each one was at the peak of the Rune Seed Realm. Among them, Song Jiangluan, who was surrounded by the sea of blood, was at the extreme peak of the Rune Seed Realm. Using numbers to bully the few, do you really think there's no one left in the demon suppression army? Golden Law River filled the sky, and Zhuang Ziyuan stepped on the promising path, surrounded by golden light. He was now covered in blood, but the fighting spirit in his body soared straight into the sky. Brother Zhuang, you can just watch the battle from the side. As the words fell, Lu Yun turned his gaze and looked at the rolling, torrential sea of blood coming towards him. If I hadn't broken through, you might have been able to fight me. But now, with a single-handed motion, Lu Yun drew the Sky Brilliance sword from its sheath. The sword radiance filled the sky, creating a scene of devastating power. As Lu Yun's strength increased, so too did the power of the Sky Brilliance Thunder Sword True Art. With a single slash, the attacks of the 5 Rune Seed Realm peak experts were directly shattered. Song Jiangluan and the huge fatty were slightly better off, their bodies rapidly retreating in the air. In particular, Song Jiangluan's strength reached the extreme of the Rune Seed Realm, just 1 step away from the final Golden Core Realm. However, the other 2 were in a more miserable situation, their mouths spewing large amounts of blood, their bodies being torn apart by the sharp sword qi, resulting in many wounds. The last one had an even more tragic fate, dying in just 1 encounter. Die! Lu Yun simply slashed down again, and a sword radiance broke through the air, all its power falling on one of the Rune Seed Realm peak experts. The lucky one chosen by Lu Yun immediately felt an intense crisis and quickly activated his rune seed to the extreme, even sacrificing his runes. However, Pucci. A desperate shattering sound was heard, and the peak Rune Seed Realm expert was swallowed by a sword light, torn apart by the terrifying sword intent, and reduced to shreds. How is this possible? Duan Tianyi, Higuihai was completely stunned. Seeing someone with equivalent strength to him, Duan Tianyi, fall so easily in front of Lu Yun's sword. Don't worry, you'll soon join him. Lu Yun's eyes flashed with thunder and blood-red light. The Sky Brilliance sword moved horizontally in the air and slashed out again. No! Guihai completely lost his fighting spirit and turned to run. At this moment, Lu Yun appeared like a living Golden Core Realm expert in his eyes. But in the end, he was still too late. With a plop sound, the Sky Brilliance sword split him in half, completely extinguishing his rune seed. In just a few moments, 3 peak Rune Seed Realm experts had fallen. All around, it was deathly silent. Seeing such an invincible Lu Yun, Zhuang Ziyuan, who had come to help, fell silent. The fatty who was knocked back, whose strength had reached the top of the Rune Seed Realm, became afraid. The bloody and relentless Song Jiangluan was full of regret, feeling like he'd fallen into an ice cave. He felt that even if he used his Rune Seed divine ability, it would be difficult to pose any threat to Lu Yun. Damn it, how could he become so strong? He's almost on par with a Golden Core Realm expert. Song Jiangluan couldn't understand. How could Lu Yun's strength have increased so rapidly in less than half a month? Next, it's your 2 turns. Lu Yun held his sword and went straight to the other 2. Seeing this, Song Jiangluan and the fatty changed their expression, activating their full power to fight Lu Yun with all their might. Just then, on a battlefield in the void, Yin Wujie, the master of the Netherworld sect, suddenly sensed the fluctuation of the blood-soul curse's mark. That brat, who has nearly disappeared for half a month, has finally appeared. So he immediately withdrew from this battlefield and followed the direction of the blood-soul curse. Lu Yun, no one can save you this time. Chapter 487. Golden Core Strongman Yin Wujie, dead. Even a true Golden Core realm expert wouldn't find it so easy to kill me. Song Jianglin's entire body was wrapped in a sea of blood, transforming into a series of blood-red ghostly shadows in the void. Kill. These blood-red ghostly shadows roared and charged towards Lu Yun. Each blood-red ghostly shadow possessed a strength not weaker than the origin fluid realm. Seeing the dense swarm of blood-red ghostly shadows, even the experienced Lu Yun couldn't help but show astonishment on his face. White Lotus Flame. Lu Yun unleashed the terrifying power of the White Lotus Flame, exterminating the ghostly shadows condensed from the sea of blood. Hiss hiss hiss. The 7th rank, 50% power of the White Lotus Flame was extraordinarily terrifying. Even a late-stage Rune Seed Realm expert would suffer greatly if they were careless. These ghostly shadows simply couldn't withstand it and were quickly annihilated in the endless white flames. Awoo! Dense swarms of ghostly shadows fearlessly rushed into the deadly sea of flames, which represented hell and the abyss, but their final outcome was just self-destruction. With each ghostly shadow's disappearance, Song Jianglin's sea of blood weakened. Not long after, the sea of blood surrounding him could only cover an area of about 10 meters around his body. Lu Yun retracted the White Lotus Flame and attacked Song Jiangluan, coldly saying, "In the face of absolute power, all devilish tricks are useless." Song Jianglin's sea of blood trembled unwillingly, retorting, "Humph, do you think this is the full extent of my strength?" Immediately, the runes around him shook, making the sea of blood boil once more. "I've said it before, even a true Golden Core realm expert can't kill me. Come out, Crimson Heavenly Ghost." A huge ghost creature with blood-red eyes appeared in front of Lu Yun. This ghost creature had a bizarre shape with no hair on its body. Its blood-red skin and enormous eyes emanated an indescribably evil aura. A peak-level Rune Seed Realm ghost creature. Lu Yun's gaze narrowed slightly. The opponent could actually summon a ghost creature with a strength equal to his own, truly extraordinary. Without giving Lu Yun time to react, the Crimson Heavenly Ghost launched its attack. The Crimson Heavenly Ghost spat out a mouthful of blood-red evil chi, blasting towards Lu Yun. Everywhere it passed, the surroundings were corroded by the wicked aura. Lu Yun casually made a move, summoning a thunderbolt to strike down. The evil and corrosive evil chi was instantly destroyed. Awoo! The Crimson Heavenly Ghost's attack failed, and it let out an unsatisfied growl. It vigorously pounded its chest with both hands, and the blood-red aura around its body became even thicker. With extreme malice in its eyes, it lunged at Lu Yun. "Humph, get lost!" Lu Yun swung the sky-brilliant sword, carrying a scorching sword radiance, and smashed it onto the head of the Crimson Heavenly Ghost. A deep gash appeared on its skull, and its body was sent flying back by the impact. What a terrifying flesh body! Shock appeared in Lu Yun's eyes as he knew the power of his sword just now. Even his own transformed body in several places would not dare to forcefully resist it. But this ghost creature took the blow and wasn't even split apart. From this, it was evident that the ghost creature's flesh body was not much weaker than his own. Awoo! The Crimson Heavenly Ghost let out a long howl, and a wave of blood-red aura rose and enveloped the void. The powerful pressure spread in all directions, and its strength clearly had reached the limits of the Rune Seed realm. From afar, Zhuang Ziyuan, who was watching the scene, muttered, "It's said that Song Jianglin's divine ability is to summon a ghost creature with equal strength to himself. It seems the rumors are true." Song Jianglin's own strength had reached the limit of the Rune Seed realm. After summoning the Crimson Heavenly Ghost, it was equivalent to having two peak Rune Seed realm expert. No wonder he had boldly proclaimed before that even a true Golden Core realm expert would find it difficult to kill him. Seeing that Lu Yun's displayed strength wasn't that powerful and couldn't cause serious damage to the Crimson Heavenly Ghost, Song Jiangluan changed his mind, ready to fight together with the Crimson Heavenly Ghost against Lu Yun. Heavenly Ghost Blood Devil Claw. Song Jiangluan held the superior profound artifact Ghost Claw of Netherworld in his hand. With a single swipe, the sea of blood surged, chi piled upon chi, and it was as if a claw from the depths of hell emerged. Lu Yun's face remained unchanged, his body shook and golden light surged. Immediately, runes flickered, laws interwoven, and flowed into the sky. Brilliance soared. An even more powerful sword radiance emerged, and the abyssal demon claw suppressing him from the sky was instantly cleaved apart. The mountain-sized Crimson Heavenly Ghost, wrapped in surging sea of blood, was also sent flying hundreds of meters away by a single sword. How is this possible? Song Jianglin's mind trembled. Who would have thought that Lu Yun, who was barely suppressing the Crimson Heavenly Ghost before, would suddenly have a surge in strength, sending both him and the ghost flying with one sword? He must have been hiding his strength just now to lure me into making a move. Upon understanding this, Song Jiangluan immediately attempted to flee. He stomped his foot, sending the sea of blood rolling. The void rippled, and he exploded with extreme speed, as if he was traversing through the void. Trying to escape? Lu Yun's voice echoed like thunder. After all, Song Jiangluan was still just a Rune Seed realm cultivator. How could his speed be faster than Lu Yun, let alone his strength being a match for Lu Yun? Just with a light shout, it contained the unique martial arts will of a Golden Core expert. Both the Crimson Heavenly Ghost and Song Jiangluan trembled slightly. This terrifying will, in the depths of Song Jianglin's heart, jealousy and fear surged. As a peak Rune Seed realm expert, extremely close to the Golden Core realm, how could he not recognize the will Lu Yun suddenly unleashed? Chapter 488. Golden Core Strongman Yin Wuji, dead. _2 Martial arts will was what bothered him, keeping him trapped in the Rune Seed realm, unable to reach the long-awaited realm. Scarlet Heavenly Ghoul, hold him for me. The Scarlet Heavenly Ghoul, summoned by his Rune Seed divine ability and controlled by his will, attacked Lu Yun without hesitation. A sword strike containing swordsmanship intent and law runes slashed out, creating a massive hole in the monstrous body of the Scarlet Heavenly Ghoul. Roar! The Scarlet Heavenly Ghoul did not care about the damage to its body, only thinking about blocking the powerful enemy in front of it. Chilling ghostly air mixed with the red evil chi formed sharp spires that bombarded Lu Yun relentlessly. Lu Yun, unfazed, swung his sword, tearing apart the heavens and the earth, leaving nothing to stand against it. The terrifying Scarlet Heavenly Ghoul couldn't withstand the overwhelming sword radiance for more than a few breaths before being completely engulfed. As the sword radiance dissipated when the sky brightened, the enormous body of the Scarlet Heavenly Ghoul shattered in the void, turning into boundless bloody red evil chi and ghostly air sweeping everywhere. The Scarlet Heavenly Ghoul couldn't withstand even 2 strikes from Lu Yun. How powerful has he become? Zhuang Ziyuan watched with disbelief in his eyes. Sensing the fall of the Scarlet Heavenly Ghoul, the fear in Song Jianglin's heart increased, regretting not fleeing earlier. Swoosh swoosh! In the midst of stormy winds and roaring thunder, Lu Yun quickly closed the distance with Song Jiangluan. Just as he was about to unleash a heaven-shaking sword strike, a powerful aura suddenly descended, causing turmoil in the void. Kid, this time no one can save you. Before Yin Wujie could fully approach, he formed hand seals, and a pitch-black portal, like an ancient demonic mountain, descended from the void, suppressing the area. "It's him." Seeing this, Lu Yun immediately abandoned his attempts to kill Song Jiangluan and struck the sky with a sky lion shaking fist. Raging runes accompanied the punch, directly knocking the descending portal back, and the shock wave struck at Yin Wujie. Yin Wujie hastily sent several runes towards the netherworld gate, but the powerful backlash caused him to stumble backwards, his chest heaving, nearly breaking his bones. His power has become so terrifying that even the netherworld gate cannot suppress him? Yin Wujie was shocked. Lu Yun's power had increased about 3 or 4 times compared to their last encounter. The extent of this power surge was unheard of and chilling. Within this gap, Song Jiangluan had vanished without a trace. Never mind, let him go for now. Lu Yun didn't mind that he had failed to kill Song Jiangluan, considering their massive difference in power. But what truly caught his attention was Yin Wujie's sudden appearance. Last time, he had been ambushed by Yin Wujie and left the battlefield with serious injuries, wasting 2 7th-grade pills to barely stop the bleeding. No matter what, Lu Yun had to settle the score for this grudge. "I don't believe I can't take down a greenhorn like you." Yin Wujie's face was icy. He had never encountered an opponent with strength as monstrous as Lu Yun. Even those in the Golden Core realm could only surpass him in their understanding of laws, but their physical strength was comparable to his. However, the punch from Lu Yun made him feel an insurmountable gap. As a cultivator who had practiced for hundreds of years, Yin Wujie could sense that Lu Yun's physical body was incredibly powerful, with vigorous blood energy like towering pillars, and he must have a terrifying natural gift in this aspect. In that case, I'll show you the true power of a Golden Core realm cultivator. Yin Wujie muttered coldly. With that, he activated his Golden Core within his body, and the vast runes exuding a powerful law aura were reinforced onto the netherworld gate. Suppress. Under Yin Wujie's control, the netherworld gate swelled against the wind, expanding to 100 feet, casting a huge shadow mimicking the lifeless atmosphere of the 9 netherworld, falling upon Lu Yun. Boom! The void stretching for hundreds of miles shook under the descent of the 100-foot netherworld gate. The terrifying pressure and the deadly Yin energy spread through the sky, forcing the Rune Seed realm practitioners in the battlefield to flee in panic. As the netherworld gate continued to grow, it stood like a black portal in the sky, with boundless pressure and unparalleled sinister energy that even a Rune Seed realm peak expert would be thoroughly suppressed. Lu Yun isn't avoiding it, is he going to withstand it head-on? The Hidden 100 sect experts thought the same. Last time, Lu Yun had been suppressed by Yin Wujie's netherworld gate. But that time, Yin Wujie hadn't unleashed the gate's full power. What Lu Yun did next left everyone stunned. Facing the descending netherworld gate, Lu Yun leaped into the air, his body emitting a torrent of golden light, powerful blood energy like dragons and tigers, and golden radiance enveloped his bones, which roared as they collided head-on with the netherworld gate. Truly seeking death. A disdainful voice came from Yin Wujie's mouth. Among the 100 sects, who among the long-practiced experts didn't know about the terror of the netherworld gate? Composed of meteorite materials, it was indestructible, and the netherworld water imbued it with the aura of the 9 nether, nearly making it the pinnacle of lower-grade treasure artifacts. Chapter 489. Golden Core Strongman Yin Wujie, dead. _3 Lu Yun's attempt to withstand the attack with his physical body was nothing but humiliating. As expected, Lu Yun's body had only just risen to midair when it suddenly stopped. The sky lion shaking the sky punch was also directly obliterated under the suppression of the netherworld gate. The next moment, the dense aura of deathly silence and the terrifying force of suppression acted upon Lu Yun's body, causing the light emitted from his body to suddenly dim, and he plummeted towards the ground along with the netherworld gate. As I thought, it's still impossible to break the seal of the netherworld gate. Elder Hung in the void shook his head slightly. Although Yin Wujie's strength was not very strong, the Netherworld Gate was a pretty good treasure artifact, capable of suppressing and sealing a small world. With this treasure artifact, there were very few strong people at the same level who could suppress him. The Netherworld Gate, hundreds of feet tall, stopped in midair, and the endless aura of death permeated the void, filled with a ghostly atmosphere everywhere. Underneath the Netherworld Gate, there seemed to be a terrifying force suddenly erupting, blocking the suppression of this treasure artifact. Don't struggle. Wuji's body trembled, and under his full explosion, a series of law runes like blood-red rivers poured down, all falling into the Netherworld Gate, breaking the previous balance and causing it to suppress downward again. Boom! However, before Wuji could take a breath, the terrifying power exploded again, causing ripples to appear in the void, and the aftermath of the confrontations spread in all directions, giving birth to a storm in the void. Everyone saw the Netherworld Gate suddenly tremble, then stop its downward trend of suppression, and slowly rise upward. Such a sudden change caused Elder Heng and the people around him to jump in their hearts, feeling that it was incredible. Under the Netherworld Gate, Lu Yun's figure stood tall. His body was filled with white flames and purple thunderbolts, driving away the awe-inspiring aura of deathly silence. With his hands forming palms, hundreds of runes gathered to form a golden giant palm, directly supporting the Netherworld Gate. This was the first time Lu Yun used law runes and blessed them on his strength, with the aid of his terrifying physical body, directly shaking the Netherworld Gate. 125 runes? Superior rune seed? Wuji felt it was incredible, even more shocking than the terrifying power shown by Lu Yun. Superior rune seeds were already extremely rare, and more than 120 runes had never been heard of. Rise for me! Lu Yun roared like a god or demon, pushing the Netherworld Gate upward, then instantly blasting it with all his might, causing the Netherworld Gate, which had a sealing ability, to tremble incessantly, rising and rushing to the sky. Whoosh! As the Netherworld Gate suddenly rose and broke through the sky, Wuji's face was full of exhaustion, and his heart was even more panicked. He discovered that the connection between himself and the Netherworld Gate had suddenly been cut off by a powerful force. Looking towards that void, the Netherworld Gate had returned to the size of a palm and fell into Lu Yun's hands. This treasure artifact is compensation for your previous attempt to kill me. Lu Yun held the Netherworld Gate in his hand, urging his martial arts will to completely erase the remaining spiritual power on it. The sea of consciousness surged, and a vast spiritual power was integrated into the Netherworld Gate. From then on, the Netherworld Gate became the third treasure artifact on his body. After imprinting his own spiritual power, it was effortless to activate the Netherworld Gate. With law runes covering it, the Netherworld Gate immediately triggered a powerful prestige, and the surging aura of deathly silence turned into a gateway hundreds of feet tall, suppressing the void. Suppress! Lu Yun roared, and the Netherworld Gate appeared within Wuji's wound, casting a bloody red shadow and quickly suppressing him downward. You dare to forcibly seize my treasure artifact. I won't spare you. Wuji roared in anger. His body flashed, dodging the Netherworld Gate's suppression, and attacked Lu Yun with terrifying force. But just then, clang! The Azure Cloud Dragon Scale Saber instantly unsheathed. Divine ability. Heaven and Earth Draw Saber Slash. At the moment of drawing the saber, all the saber momentum and saber intent erupted within 1/100th of a breath. The heavens and the earth were filled with continuous saber howls, and an extremely dazzling blade light suddenly slashed out, carrying unparalleled speed and power, falling from the 9th heaven. Such a quick change, such a strong explosive force, was completely unexpected by Wuji. Even if he burst out with his maximum speed, he still couldn't avoid this saber. At such a close distance, Heaven and Earth Draw Saber Slash made it impossible for him to dodge. Spurt! The right half of Wuji's body was almost instantly cut by the erupting blade's radiance, his body covered in blood, and his shocked face was frozen in midair. At the same time, the netherworld gate carried a terrifying pressure and suppressed downward. With a bang, Wuji groaned in pain, his body plummeted, and he was sealed beneath the netherworld gate. Cut in half by Lu Yun's sudden saber attack, and then suppressed by his own treasure artifact, the netherworld gate, Wuji's eyes turned black with rage as he roared to the heavens. At this moment, his spine was almost bent under the pressure of being half-crushed, and his entire body creaked, barely withstanding the netherworld gate's suppression. A column of blood gushed from Wuji's heavenly cover, pouring into the netherworld gate, while his martial arts will burst out, trying to refine it again. However, how could Lu Yun give him the chance? Lu Yun, holding the azure cloud dragon scale saber, disappeared on the spot, only to see a blade mark filled with blood-red light passing through the void. Rune Seed Divine Ability. Demon-slaying god-killing saber. As the saber slashed out, the blade's power surged immensely, and when it passed through the air, it seemed as though gods and demons were roaring in anger. Whoosh! Wuji, who was desperately trying to block the netherworld gate, was submerged in the endless blade light with his half-crippled body. Finally, the blade light swept across the sky, and Lu Yun's figure appeared 100 feet away, forming an eternal image that seemed to be frozen in place. Behind him, under the netherworld gate, a blood-red trace suddenly appeared on Wuji's body, and blood spurted out as his body split apart. His old, gloomy eyes were round and filled with endless hatred. As his eyes dimmed, his body burst apart, forming a golden rain of light that scattered throughout the void. Golden Core Realm Powerhouse, Wuji. Dead. Chapter 490. Battle of the Celestial Human, Wuji dead? Lu Yun actually killed Wuji. Whether it was martial artists from the 100 sects who were hiding and watching the battle or the powerful fighters of the Demon Suppression Army, the 9 Nether Demon Sect, and the Red Moon Demon Sect who were fighting fiercely in the void battlefield, everyone's scalp went numb. This Lu Yun really can kill Golden Core Realm expert. Lu Yun, Zhuangziyuan looked at Lu Yun, unable to form a complete sentence. When Wuji arrived, he was ready to flee at any moment. But to his surprise, Lu Yun fought Wuji alone and somehow used a method to forcefully steal the latter's treasure artifact Netherworld Gate. In the end, he showed 2 powerful saber cultivation divine abilities and killed Wuji. All of this was like a dream to him. Just after breaking through to the Rune Seed Realm, he mastered 2 divine abilities and killed a Golden Core Realm expert. It seems that his rise is unstoppable. In the void, the woman in a white robe beside the man in the blue robe spoke emotionlessly. Lu Yun's current strength had reached the peak in this battlefield, and very few people could pose a threat to him. It's hard to say. At present, nearly 50 Golden Core Realm experts from the 9 Nether Demon Sect, the Red Moon Demon Sect, and their subordinate forces have joined the battle, as well as 2 celestial humans. The final outcome is unpredictable. The man in the blue robe shook his head and looked at the celestial humans in the void with reverence. These 2 celestial humans had been confronting each other for several months, maintaining the overall balance of the battlefield without ever engaging in real combat. However, with the arrival of another expert from the Red Moon Demon Sect, the balance of the battle would be completely broken. The others remained silent upon hearing this. At this moment, Lu Yun waved his hand, and the netherworld gate shrank and flew into his hand. It's not bad for subduing enemies. He had personally experienced the suppressing power of the netherworld gate. Once an average person of the same realm was trapped, it would be difficult for them to escape. As for Lu Yun, if it weren't for his powerful physical body and enhanced martial arts will, he wouldn't have been able to secretly refine it, even if Wuji was careless. Immediately afterward, several Sumi rings appeared in his hand, all obtained from the Rune Seed Realm experts he had killed. The wealth of the peak Rune Seed Realm experts was undoubtedly abundant. Keep working hard. Lu Yun put away his spoils of war and looked towards another battlefield with fighting spirit flashing in his eyes. At this moment, a terrifying force erupted in the void, and the frightening fluctuations instantly swept the entire void battlefield. Celestial Human. Vice Commander has taken action. The fighters of the Demon Suppression Army and the 9 Nether Demon Sect, as well as the Red Moon Demon Sect, were all invigorated at this moment. Both sides' powerful fighters had great confidence in their Celestial Humans. Celestial Human, in another battlefield, Wei Tianluan forced his opponent back with a palm strike and looked towards the source of the fluctuations with a solemn expression. However, he quickly refocused his attention on his opponent in front of him. Stars rotated in his palm, and the enormous celestial bodies rolled out, bursting with earth-shattering power. His opponent was also a strong Golden Core Realm Peak expert, who also displayed powerful divine abilities to counter Wei Tianlun's stars in the palm. Hua Yunhui. A low, majestic voice echoed in the void, and the gray space shattered like broken glass. An old figure, shrouded in golden mist, suddenly descended and appeared in the void battlefield. Upon seeing the newcomer, Hua Yunhui, who had been confronting the sect leader of the Red Moon Demon Sect, slightly furrowed his brow. Li Jiuyin, it's been over 100 years. I never expected that you've advanced to the celestial human level. You truly have good fortune. Li Jiuyin. Upon hearing this name, the corresponding information surfaced in Lu Yun's mind. The other party was once one of the top talents of the Red Moon Demon Sect, known as Blood Moon Twin Stars along with the current sect leader. Besides this information, he knew nothing more. After hearing Hua Yunhui reveal Li Juyin's identity, the various powerful experts watching the battle in the void exchanged glances, seemingly confused. The name Li Jiuyin was ancient and resounding to them, because he used to be in existence on par with the sect leader of the Red Moon Demon Sect, but he was trapped in the Golden Core realm for a long time, unable to break through to the celestial human level. He spent years in seclusion and gradually faded from the 100 sects' attention. In theory, he should have reached the limit of his lifespan. Unexpectedly, Li Jiuyin had successfully broken through, becoming the second celestial human expert of the Red Moon Demon Sect. So, the new celestial human expert of the Red Moon Demon Sect is Li Jiuyin. That explains everything. Elder Heng murmured. Before this, he didn't know who the second celestial human of the Red Moon Demon Sect was. Now everything became clear. However, what he couldn't understand was why Li Jiuyin managed to break through at the end of his life. Elder Heng knew full well that the later a Golden Core expert's flesh decayed, the greater the risk in becoming a celestial human, and the success rate would drastically decrease. He still had about 50 years left of his lifespan, but he held no hope for breaking through to the celestial human realm. At this moment, Li Juyin's voice was cold. With my talent, I should have broken through to the celestial human level long ago, but the Red Moon Demon Sect, which has lost its former foundation and heritage, cannot support the coexistence of two celestial humans. Even though my talent is unparalleled, I was still trapped in the Golden Core realm for hundreds of years. All of this is because of Morijin. Chapter 491. Battle of the Celestial Human Atu. Next, Morijin shall bear the fury which I have bred for centuries. With these words, he struck out with his palm. An ordinary palm, yet the whole battlefield trembled slightly. Dense law auras emanated from the enormous palm chi. Humph, resorting to using the celestial human's power to deal with a group of juniors at the Rune Seed and Golden Core realms, what a shameless act. Hua Yunhui sneered and countered with a palm strike, trying to block the opponent's attack. Hua Yunhui, you dare to be distracted while confronting me? A burly man, who stood 9 feet tall, rose to his feet, his eyes filled with endless chill. He wore an incredibly intricate and ancient dark robe, his eyes deep and pitch black. He was none other than the sect leader of the Red Moon Demon Sect. The instant the Red Moon Demon Sect leader rose, his initially calm eyes, vast as the void, suddenly flared open. At the same time, the gas permeating around him, like dark clouds blocking out the stars, seethed and roiled. Wherever it passed, the void shattered and disintegrated like paper. The disturbance caused by a heavenly human expert was incomparable to that of those in the golden core realm. Boom! Instantaneously, a thunderous bell sound resonated through the void, suppressing the roiling black cloud. Boom! Boom! As the bell rang twice, a gigantic bronze bell flew out from the void and headed towards the fearsome aura of the Red Moon Demon sect leader to suppress him. What treasure artifact is that, which can even suppress a mighty celestial human like the Red Moon Demon sect leader? The moment the huge bell appeared, many experts from the 100 sects observing the battle in the void exclaimed in astonishment. Suddenly, an expert seemed to have discovered something and couldn't help but exclaim, "It's not a treasure artifact, but a spirit artifact. Does Venerable Yun Xian recognize this tree spirit artifact?" Many experts glanced at the source of the sound, and their expressions turned solemn upon identifying the speaker. Those who appeared to watch the battle here were all powerful experts of the 100 sects, true elites. However, only a few of them had reached the celestial human rank. The one speaking now was one of those few experts. Glancing at the gazes of the youngsters around him, Yun Xian Venerable coughed softly and said, "This spirit artifact is called the Thundercloud Bell, the inheritance treasure of the former Thundercloud Mountain. 800 years ago, when Thundercloud Mountain was destroyed by Morijin, the Thundercloud Bell fell into Morijin's treasure vault." Thundercloud Mountain? Upon hearing this sect's name, the expressions of the experts present grew solemn. Thundercloud Mountain was once one of the 100 sects, its background and power no weaker than the current Red Moon Demon sect, Nine Nether Demon sect, Heavenly Mystery Sword sect, and other top-tier forces. Due to certain reasons, the sect and its inheritance were destroyed by Morijin's iron hoof. Spirit artifact? I have one as well. As soon as he finished speaking, the Red Moon Demon sect leader slowly raised his right hand, and a glimmer of red light shimmered before materializing into a spirit artifact resembling a crescent moon, its surface oozing with red blood. Red Moon Demonic Scythe. The Red Moon Demon sect leader waved his hand in the void, and the Red Moon Demonic Scythe soared out, like a crimson half-moon, clashing against the suppressing Thundercloud Bell. The crashing forces churned like a stormy tide, sweeping in all directions. Immediately after, the bell of the Thundercloud Bell tolled, affecting the void for tens of thousands of miles. I've heard that the Thundercloud Bell was once the guardian spirit artifact of Thundercloud Mountain. Why is it fighting on behalf of Morijin, the one who destroyed Thundercloud Mountain today? A dignified and enticing voice emanated from the Red Moon Demonic Scythe, as a figure in a blood-red robe appeared in the void. In response, a tender voice echoed from the Thundercloud Bell. "That old fellow perished in the river of history long ago. As for me now, it is Hua Yun, the army commander who grants me power, making me stronger than that old fellow and my potential even greater. As for you, if you choose to surrender now, perhaps you can retain some true spirit, otherwise you will end up like that old fellow." As the voice fell, the bell rang loudly, and the destructive fluctuations erupted vehemently. Within the void, the Red Moon Demon Scythe trembled, releasing countless wisps of blood-red chi that converged into densely packed red threads, blasting towards the Thundercloud Bell. At that moment, two powerful spirit artifacts engaged in battle, unleashing their full power. Simultaneously, Hua Yunhui is engaged with the Red Moon Demon sect leader, preventing him from obstructing Li Juin. Although the two of them attacked Hua Yunhui at the same time and could suppress him, they were not able to kill him quickly. Comparatively, it was more profitable to concentrate on killing powerful experts in the Golden Core realm and Rune Seed realm. Boom, boom, boom. A powerful aura swept across the void battlefield, with endless laws flowing like water currents. The tremendous power and terrifying force spread out in all directions, causing any demon suppression army experts who were caught in it to tremble. It felt as if their bodies were about to be torn apart by the force. Seeing this opportunity, experts from the Red Moon Demon Sect and 9 Nether Demon Sect took action right away, intending to heavily injure and kill their opponent. Boom, boom, boom. In just a matter of a few breaths, a heavenly-level demon extermination general and several Earth-rank demon extermination generals had fallen. Yin Wujie glanced at the void and saw no one stopping him. His eyes became even colder. It seems that there is no second celestial human in the demon suppression army. As soon as he finished speaking, he took a step forward, appearing in the void, overlooking the vast endless battlefield. Immediately after, a cave heavens as vast as the heavens and earth descended from the void. He held the cave heavens with one hand as if trying to cover more than half of the endless battlefield. This battle has gone on too long, it's time to end it. After saying that, the vast cave heavens with flowing laws descended to suppress the battlefield. At this moment, more than half of the battlefield was shaking violently. Countless black hands stretched out from the cave heavens, grabbing at demon suppression army experts. Seeing the suddenly appearing cave heavens in the sky, Lu Yun's expression became solemn. He felt an extremely terrifying threat from that cave heavens. The only reassurance was that the cave heavens was not targeting him alone, but aimed at all the demon suppression army experts on the battlefield. Heaven and earth draw saber slash. Lu Yun slashed with all his might, and an astonishing saber light burst forth, colliding with the black hand falling from the void. In the end, the black hand dispersed while Lu Yun was hit by a powerful backlash, sending him flying from the void. At the same time, Lu Yun noticed that Zhuang Ziyuan and other demon extermination generals were also attacked by the black hands not far away. However, the power of each black hand seemed to be different. Some demon extermination generals could easily block them, some had to do it with all their might, some were heavily injured, and some were killed directly. Red Moon Demon Sect and 9 Nether Demon Sect experts took the opportunity to slaughter the demon suppression army expert. Before long, another heavenly-level demon extermination general and more than a dozen Earth-rank demon extermination generals had fallen. For a time, the balance on the entire battlefield was completely broken. The scales of victory seemed to be tilting in favor of the Red Moon Demon Sect and 9 Nether Demon Sect. Ha 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 ha, kill them all, slaughter all the demon suppression army. The Red Moon Demon Sect and 9 Nether Demon Sect experts' morale surged, while the demon suppression army's morale dropped instantly. The suppression of a single celestial human realm expert affected 1/3 of the entire battlefield. To manifest a cave heavens on your own, I wonder if you are confident or fearless. At this moment, a magnificent and heavy voice sounded. Immediately after, an even more vast and powerful cave heavens descended from the void, directly landing in the void where Li Juyian's cave heavens was located. Cave heavens! Seeing the arrival of the even more vast and powerful cave heavens, Li Juyian's face changed slightly, and he hurriedly withdrew his cave heavens. However, the opponent had given him no chance to do so. Boom! 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 The two vast cave heavens collided in the void, with the intertwining laws and cave heavens' power entwining. At this point, the experts' gazes shifted from the battlefield where Hua Yunhui and the Red Moon Demon Sect leader were, all turning towards this confrontation. A clash of cave heavens was the deadliest battle between celestial human realm experts. Once both sides used their cave heavens, it meant that their battle was ultimately aimed at consuming and destroying the opponent's cave heavens. Furthermore, a battle of cave heavens had another significance. It meant, fight to the death, no retreat. Chapter 492. The Holy Son of the Red Moon Demon Sect, Mo Wuzong. The confrontation of celestial humans is quite rare within the 100 Sect and the whole of Morijin, especially when cave heavens collide, elevating the confrontation to another level. Such a spectacle provides the hidden powerhouses in the void an opportunity to observe battles of this caliber and gain valuable insight. Normally, witnessing such a level of contest would be impossible. All celestial humans stand at the peak, their numbers scarce, and they rarely make a move. Especially a clash of cave heavens, involving life and death struggles, is even less likely to happen. Hence, witnessing such a scene today, these powerhouses focused their minds, even ignoring Lu Yun, who had caused a major shock in the endless battlefield. For them, everything is secondary to their own martial arts practice. Suddenly, a long river appeared above the cave heaven where Gongsun Zhonghong was. This river seemed illusory, yet it radiated unparalleled might, making the cave heaven more powerful and stable. Today in the battle of cave heavens you shall fall. Gongsun Zhonghong spoke word by word. The illusory river above the cave heaven vibrated, deploying a profound power that made Li Juyan's cave heaven tremble incessantly. This scene made Li Juyan's face extremely ugly. Rule River. Gongsun Zhonghong has actually condensed rules. Li Juyan is in danger in this battle. All those powerhouses watching the battle had drastic changes in their expressions. A cave heaven with rules and one without are of two distinct levels of existence. Around the 100 sect, among many celestial human realm powerhouses, only a very few have grasped the concept of rules. They could be counted on one hand. Rules, I can't believe he actually formed rules. Li Juyan's face was as dark as water. Every celestial human who understands rules is the most powerful force of their sect. The Red Moon Demon sect currently only has one celestial human who has grasped rules. As for him, he had just built his cave heaven not long ago. To understand rules, he would need at least tens or hundreds of years. But now Gongsun Zhonghong has also grasped rules. In this way, he is no match for the opponent. It's just a mere rule, it doesn't mean much among the powerhouses of my Morijin. Gongsun Zhonghong smiled faintly, his eyes immediately turned cold. However, one rule is enough to kill you. With a mere thought from him, the illusory rule river suddenly became solid, its power greatly increased. Boom! Under the enhancement of the rule river, Gongsun Zhonghong's cave heaven roared and sunk, and the other side's cave heaven seemed to have suffered a great impact and started to violently tremble. His cave heaven is strengthened by a rule, and his strength far exceeds mine. If this continues, I will inevitably perish here. Li Juyan's face turned even darker, and even a look of panic showed in his eyes. He could feel the tremendous power from the other side's cave heaven and sensed that his own cave heaven was at the brink of collapse. The cave heaven is his core, more importantly, his foundation. If it collapses, the consequences would be unimaginable. It seems that I have to go all out. Determined, Li Juyan made a decision in an instant. Suddenly, a green light shot out from his cave heaven. Divine flower, aid me in refining the rule. In an instant, the green light bloomed with a dazzling glow that lit up the cave heaven. A green flower tenjong in size appeared in the cave heaven, blooming freely, exhaling a strange breath. From the center of the green flower, a pure and incomparable force slowly emanated. The next moment, all the endless rules in the cave heaven gathered, causing the surrounding void to tremble furiously. An illusory long river gradually formed, suspended above the cave heaven. The cave heaven, which was initially trembling and crumbling, began to stabilize as the illusory river unfolded. As the flower released the pure and incomparable power, the divine flower began to wilt slowly. Simultaneously, the illusory river gradually became more condensed. What kind of treasure is that, capable of allowing Li Juyan to condense a rule in a few breaths' time? In an instant, a powerhouse in the void exclaimed, looking at Li Juyan with intense greed. If it wasn't for his lacking power, he would even want to take action himself. Regrettably, a treasure that could allow a celestial human to form a rule in just a few breaths' time is indeed rare. Yun Xian venerable frowned. That is the divine flower, said to be the supreme treasure for comprehending the great Tao. It is the treasure of the sky-splitting sword sect. I didn't expect it to be in the hands of Li Jiuyin. It appears that the downfall of the sky-splitting sword sect is somewhat related to the Red Moon Demon sect. The divine flower grew in the secret realm of the sky-splitting sword sect, and one could be born every 1,000 years. This matter is very secretive, but the leading figures among the 100 sect are all aware of it to some extent. Although the divine flower is a treasure for comprehending the great Tao, it has its limitations. That is, once borrowing the power of the divine flower to form a rule, one could never make further progress. In other words, the rules condensed with the help of the divine flower are at the cost of their own potential and foundation. However, the fact that one can create a rule is attractive enough to anyone. The two rule rivers collided, the river water flowing in the void, stirring waves of shock, and wherever they reached, the void died away. Chapter 493. The Holy Son of the Red Moon Demon Sect, Mo Wuzong_2, I wasted a divine flower and cut off my own retreat because of you. You're not getting away alive today. After stopping the collapse and the cave heavens stabilizing again, Li Jiyin's face hasn't improved either. I've said before, a single rule isn't a big deal. There are still many things Li Jiyin hasn't thought about. Gongsun Zhonghong said with a faint smile. As soon as his words fell, another illusory rule river appeared above the cave heavens. After fully solidifying, the two different colored rule rivers covered the sky, suppressing the void. The intersections of two different colors made the power of the rule river greatly increase, and the mysterious power grew exponentially. Boom, boom, boom. As another rule river appeared, the original two opposing rule rivers seemed to be hit by some kind of impact and directly dispersed, turning into a ray of light and disappearing into the cave heavens. As the rule river collapsed, the cave heavens were also subjected to a strong impact and continued to shake. The powerful mysterious force caused the recently stabilized cave heavens to show signs of cracking. Two rules! Li Jiuyin exclaimed in surprise. His face completely changed. Although he had condensed a rule with the help of the divine flower, it was only one rule after all. But his opponent, Gongsun Zhonghong, had two rules directly. Both were heavenly human realm experts and strong at the level of rules. A single rule couldn't resist two rules. Today you shall fall. Gongsun Zhonghong stood above the cave heavens, looking down at the crumbling cave heavens below, and his majestic voice echoed in the void. As his words fell, the two rule rivers merged completely, and the mysterious power completely blessed the cave heavens, bombarding the cave heavens below. Boom, boom. The collision of two different levels of cave heavens caused the afterwaves to sweep across the void battlefield, and the intense fluctuations even changed the expressions of Golden Core experts. As the two heavenly human experts fought with all their might, Lu Yun was rapidly hunting his targets on the other battlefield. By now, his cultivation had reached the mid-stage of the Rune Seed realm, and coupled with mastering two divine abilities, his combat power was even more terrifying than those who had just stepped into the Golden Core realm. With such strength, he was almost unstoppable on the battlefield. At the same time, his demon extermination point was soaring, and it soon broke through the 1,000,000 mark. Before this, he had never thought of such a huge number of demon extermination points. Apart from that, the number of pills in the Sumi ring was constantly increasing. Since almost all of his kills were in the Rune Seed realm, the pills were mainly 7th grade pills. According to incomplete statistics, there were about 100 ordinary 7th grade pills. In addition, there were 7 top-notch 7th grade pills. In Wuji's Sumi ring, there was also an 8th grade pill. If all these pills were refined, the energy value would increase by at least 4 million. As expected, only this kind of war is the best way to plunder resources. Lu Yun sighed and then continued to rush to the next battlefield. Heaven and earth were fragmented, and the martial artists of the two camps fought tirelessly. In the gray void, two powerful figures were fighting. Lu Yun's eyes suddenly fell on one of the figures. This figure was graceful and had an ethereal temperament. Every move they made seemed to emit a blazing, sacred glow, like an ice and snow fairy, stirring the power of the ice and snow domain and suppressing the demon general they were battling. Seeing this charming, beautiful woman, Lu Yun let out a cold snort, and a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Humph, I will avenge the past grudge today. Lu Yun's figure disappeared in the distance in an instant, and the next moment, he appeared in the void where the two were fighting fiercely. The azure cloud dragon scale saber was unsheathed. Thrilling saber intent erupted. An infinite amount of blade light burst from the blade. At the same time, Feng Yi, who was fighting a Rune Seed Realm Peak expert, felt a terrifying intent covering her and her face changed drastically. She wanted to dodge but was already too late. Heaven and Earth draw saber slash. Even a Golden Core expert would be seriously injured if caught off guard, if not dead. Feng Yi, although she had reached the limit of the Rune Seed Realm, was far from being a match for a powerful Golden Core Realm expert. How was she supposed to resist? In less than a tenth of a breath's time, this peerless genius and incomparably beautiful woman was pierced through by a terrifying beam of light. Before her consciousness plunged into darkness, her beautiful eyes were filled with disbelief and incredulity. She never would have expected that the one who killed her was someone she could easily defeat half a month ago. Killing a former enemy, Lu Yun's state of mind remained calm, as he waved his hand and collected the opponent's Sumi ring. After wiping away the imprint, he proceeded to inspect the spoils of war. The entire process was as smooth as a flowing stream, as though he had practiced it thousands of times. Watching the beautiful corpse slowly falling from the void and looking at Lu Yun, who was skillfully collecting the enemy's spoils, the demon extermination general was left speechless. Lu Yun nodded slightly to the general before quickly leaving, searching for his next target. Golden Core Realm experts were few in number and difficult to kill. Lu Yun's targets were mainly focused on those in the late Rune Seed Realm, and at its peak. He used the same tactic. After discovering his target, he would deploy the Heaven and Earth Draw Saber/Divine ability. From drawing his saber to harvesting the enemy's life, and finally collecting the spoils of war, all of it took only a few breaths' time. Seeing their formidable opponents suddenly being split apart by a terrifying saber light, the demon extermination general's expressions were filled with horror, and it took them a long time to come to their senses. They finally relaxed after seeing the dark gold token around their opponent's waist. After all, a powerhouse not much weaker than themselves falling within just a few breaths, such prowess was enough to instill fear in them. As one Rune Seed Realm powerhouse after another was slaughtered by Lu Yun, the demon suppression army gradually gained the upper hand in this battle. Half an hour later, after Lu Yun had slain 5 late-stage Rune Seed Realm experts and 1 at the peak of the realm, the battle situation became much clearer. Bai Changfeng, Zhang Wenyun, and other peak Rune Seed Realm experts from the various legions began to engage in a frenzied massacre, and the Rune Seed Realm battle power of the Red Moon Demon Sect and 9 Nether Demon Sect began decreasing rapidly. Buzz! Just at that moment, a beam of light suddenly shone in the sky, transforming into a blood-colored long spear. The blood-colored long spear was like a thunderbolt blasting down from the heavens at a terrifying speed, straight towards Lu Yun. Upon seeing the blood-colored long spear, Bai Changfeng and the others' expressions changed. They sensed a different aura within that blood-colored long spear. It was the power beyond the Rune Seed Realm. Another Golden Core Realm expert has made a move. Sensing the rapidly approaching crisis from the sky, Lu Yun remained calm. With a wave of his left hand, the Netherworld Gate transformed into a portal appearing above him, shielding him from above. Boom! The bloody long spear slammed into the Netherworld Gate, creating a terrifying shock wave that caused the surrounding void to tremble violently. Humph! With a cold snort, a figure appeared in the void, grabbing the blood-red long spear with his hand in the process. Yin Wujia, that old fool, really is good for nothing but causing a mess. The netherworld gate wound up in your hands. As he finished speaking, a palm reached out, and the rules surged, seeming to transform into tens of thousands of palms, slapping the void and causing the space to tremble slightly. Mix Origin Annihilation Palm. It seems that he has arrived, Bai Changfeng's eyes flashed. He had already vaguely guessed the enemy's identity when he saw the blood-red long spear. Now that his opponent used a divine ability, it only confirmed his suspicion. Lu Yun's expression was indifferent. With a fist in hand, he threw a punch. At this moment, his realm and physical body had grown considerably, far more powerful than when he was at the peak of the golden body realm. The same technique in his hands could not unleash the power of divine abilities, but it could still achieve miraculous results. A lifelike golden heavenly lion emerged from his fist and roared, executing the sky lion shaking the sky technique. Boom! In the void, the two fighters' moves collided, causing ripples to surge and leaving countless onlookers astonished. As the confrontation reached its climax, Lu Yun suddenly used his divine ability, Heaven and Earth Draw Saber Slash. A beam of saber light, accompanied by the terrifying might of splitting heaven and earth, instantly cut through the void. The man with the blood-red long spear was sliced apart by the saber light in an instant, but regrettably, it was only an afterimage. So, this is your trump card, truly impressive. A young man in a red-gold robe, holding a blood-red long spear with an ordinary and featureless face, looked down at Lu Yun with a touch of coldness in his eyes. As I thought, it's you, Saint Child of the Red Moon Demon Sect, Mo Wuzong, Lu Yun said indifferently. In fact, Lu Yun had guessed long ago that his massacring would once again draw out a Golden Core realm expert from the Red Moon Demon Sect or the Nine Nether Demon Sect. However, he never expected that his opponent would be the Saint Child of the Red Moon Demon Sect, Mo Wuzong. Chapter 494. Full Power, Self-Destruct Rule. The one who used the Mix Origin Annihilation Palm divine ability and held the Blood Spirit Ghostly Spear could be none other than the Red Moon Demon Sect's Saint Child, Mo Wuzong, apart from Lu Yun. As for Mo Wuzong, his qualifications were not inferior to the sect leader of the Red Moon Demon Sect and had the potential to become a celestial human. Although he was currently in the early stage of the Golden Core realm, his true combat power was far beyond comparison to the likes of Yin Wujie. I usually disdain to bully junior like you, but how could you slaughter so many of my fellow disciples? Mo Wuzong said indifferently, with strong killing intent in his eyes and a touch of barely detectable jealousy. Yes, jealousy it was. He was jealous of Lu Yun's appearance, as well as his monstrous talent. Although he was the Saint Child of the Red Moon Demon Sect, he could barely compete with the peak Rune Seed realm when he was in the middle stage of the Rune Seed realm himself. This aspect was far inferior compared to Lu Yun. In terms of appearance, Lu Yun had handsome brows and eyes, and a face like jade, while Mo Wuzong's appearance was rather plain. Why does heaven favor Lu Yun so much? Not only did it give him an unparalleled appearance but also monstrous talent. Since heaven is so unfair, this Saint Child will destroy it. With this thought, Mo Wuzong's eyes darkened, and his face turned pale, as he launched an attack. He pointed a finger and surging energy of laws condensed into a crimson giant star finger, crushing down toward Lu Yun. This was also one of his divine abilities, the Red Moon Star Finger. He is a tough opponent. Lu Yun's face remained calm, activating his physical body, with surging blood and energy like a fierce tiger or dragon. The burst of power was so terrifying that it seemed like it could shatter the void with a single punch. Immediately after, Lu Yun swung the Azure Cloud Dragon Scale Saber, and the powerful saber aura roared out, carrying the power of slaying gods and wiping out demon kings, tearing the sky apart. The demon-slaying god-killing saber divine ability clashed with the Red Moon Star Finger, and the erupting power shook the firmament. During the collision, the Red Moon Star Finger was directly cut by the saber aura, and then the remaining force continued to slash toward Mo Wuzong. Your power? Mo Wuzong's face changed. Previously, Lu Yun's heaven and earth draw saber slash was already enough to surprise him. But now, the power of the demon-slaying god-killing saber divine ability was even beyond his expectations. Heavenly sanguine slaughter. Mo Wuzong attacked again, holding the blood spirit ghostly spear with both hands and stabbing it forward. A blood-red spear aura fell from the void, bombarding the demon-slaying god-killing saber aura. However, the terrifying power contained within it made Mo Wuzong's face change drastically. Puchi. The saber aura and spear aura shattered, and the terrifying power landed on Mo Wuzong's body, causing him to fly backward like a kite with broken strings. Such a scene instantly stunned the powerhouses who were witnessing it. How is this possible? That's Mo Wuzong, the saint child of the Red Moon Demon sect, the invincible existence among his peers. Many powerhouses were astonished and dumbfounded. How could the saint child of a powerful sect be so easily defeated? For a moment, some powerhouses began to question Mo Wuzong's identity as the saint child. It's not that Mo Wuzong is too weak, it's just that Lu Yun is too abnormal. That saber strike just now was almost comparable to the power of the midlistage Golden Core realm, with terrifying power. An ordinary Golden Core realm couldn't withstand it at all. A powerhouse of the Azure Profound sect said, his eyes filled with shock. This person was known for his powerful physical body, and his words were irrefutable. However, some people were still puzzled. That Mo Wuzong, a powerhouse of the Heavenly Mystery Sword sect, looked at Mo Wuzong with curiosity. He had once fought Mo Wuzong before and knew that his strength was not weaker than his own. Although Lu Yun's strength was now incredibly strong, it shouldn't be enough to crush Mo Wuzong so easily. Just when everyone was puzzled, Lu Yun spoke in a calm tone, revealing the truth. Mo Wuzong, should I say you are arrogant, or should I say you are stupid? You dare to hide your strength when fighting against me. As Lu Yun's words fell, those who were puzzled had their expressions freeze. The saint child of the Red Moon Demon sect had actually hidden his strength. Previously, when Mo Wuzong made his move, his displayed power had almost reached the limit of the early Golden Core realm. It could be said that it was almost comparable to the middle stage Golden Core realm. But now Lu Yun claimed that Mo Wuzong had hidden his strength, which was somewhat incredible. If he hid his strength, which was already comparable to the early Golden Core realm, just how powerful would he be when he unleashed his full power? Lu Yun remained calm. From the moment their fight began, he could sense that his opponent was hiding his true power. Especially just now, when Mo Wuzong had effortlessly withstood his nearly 1 billion kilograms of force without showing any signs of strain. However, Lu Yun didn't care about that. At this time, he had given up the idea of killing his opponent. It would be very difficult to kill Mo Wuzong with such strength. The reason he could kill Inwujia before was that the latter had been too careless. Now, Mo Wuzong was already on guard in his heart. Even if he could suppress him, it wouldn't necessarily mean he could kill him. Lu Yun didn't like doing things that he knew were impossible. At a distance, Mo Wuzong straightened his crimson robe, his face extremely gloomy. He said coldly, I thought that with 70% of my strength I could kill you. But I didn't expect that your strength would be much stronger than I imagined. Since you know my strength, why don't you retreat now? Otherwise, you will end up like Inwujia, Lu Yun said indifferently. He didn't want to fight against Mo Wuzong and wanted to spend more time killing other rune seed realms to obtain more resources. If Mo Wuzong were to entangle him, it would definitely be a huge loss for him. Hearing this, Mo Wuzong's heart was burning with rage. Chapter 495. Full Power, Self-Destruction Rule _2 Such arrogant words. Mo Wuzong's aura suddenly surged, reaching the peak of the early stage of the Golden Core realm. His cold gaze fell on Lu Yun. Today, I'll let you know the true power of this saint child. Suddenly, a metallic vibration sounded, and the laws of heaven and earth intertwined. The crimson blood spirit ghostly spear, carrying a supreme divine might, pierced through the air towards him. It seems there's no avoiding this battle. Lu Yun sighed softly. Then, as if a divine ape leaped, his long saber turned into a flood dragon coming out of the ocean, heading towards his opponent. For a moment, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the void. The saber light and spear shadows collided heavily, and the unleashed laws exploded, continuously sending out waves of terror. The speed of the two was so fast it turned into a blur, the figures relentlessly crossing paths and charging, too fast for ordinary people to track. Only those at the same stage, the Golden Core realm, could discern a few clues. Boom, 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 clang. The intense and dangerous battle continued. The Azure Cloud Dragon Scale Saber and the Blood Spirit Ghostly Spear repeatedly collided, and both sides' bodies kept charging forward. This battle was not only a clash of weapons but also a contest of physical strength and a competition of divine abilities. Many people noticed that Lu Yun's physical constitution was far stronger than Mo Wuzong's, but the Azure Cloud Dragon Scale Saber in his hand seemed not to be weak. After continuous charging and clashing, it gradually revealed a slight trace of wear. Mo Wuzong's Blood Spirit Ghostly Spear was a mid-level treasure artifact, while Lu Yun's Azure Cloud Dragon Scale Saber was only a superior profound artifact. 2 levels apart, it couldn't compete at all. After another dozen exchanges, the Azure Cloud Dragon Scale Saber finally couldn't bear the pressure and broke with a poochie. Boom! A dull sound echoed as the crimson netherworld spear, wrapped in endless law runes, fell like a crimson pillar supporting the sky, bursting with killing intent. The red light obscured the sun, the murderous intent shook the void, and blood-red spear lights flashed across the sky. Both of your divine abilities are based on saber cultivation. Without your saber, let's see how you'll fight against me. Mo Wuzong said coldly. The Blood Spirit Ghostly Spear, like a crimson demon god, wrapped in unparalleled runes of 10,000 suns, pierced downward. The divine might it emanated would shock any early-stage Golden Core realm fighter. Lu Yun dodged and then summoned the Netherworld Gate again, trying to suppress Mo Wuzong. Blood God Sweep! Mo Wuzong roared, the spear suddenly spinning, creating a vortex of blood-red light before his entire body spun like a top, and the spear unleashed a terrifying beam of light. This beam of light, formed by intertwined law runes, was so dense that it even shook the void. Lu Yun's expression changed. 10 flying swords whirled out, forming a rudimentary sword array to hold back the spear beam. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lu Yun quickly dodged away. Poochie! With a crisp sound, 3 of the 10 flying swords were immediately blasted apart. The loss of the superior profound artifact-level Azure Cloud Dragon Scale Saber, and now the loss of 3 top-tier profound artifacts left Lu Yun in immense pain. When I use my full power, I am beyond your imagination, Mo Wuzong declared, his eyes cold and sharp like a blade. Kill! He looked like a madman, his disheveled hair flying wildly as he danced with his spear, looking down from a high position as he charged towards Lu Yun. The void was torn apart, and the Rune Seed Realm fighters from both sides retreated. The battle between these two was simply too powerful, incomprehensible to them. If they were carelessly involved, they would suffer serious injuries if not killed. Boom! The spear was like a flood dragon, as Mo Wuzong grew increasingly aggressive. Each spear thrust was aimed at cutting off Lu Yun's escape paths. He became more and more fierce and domineering, seeming as though he wanted to pierce the void. His long black hair flew about, and his crimson robe released dazzling light, emitting an unparalleled aura of terror. Lu Yun, die! He shouted loudly, and the law runes wrapped around the outside of his golden core flew out, dazzling and resplendent, accompanied by the deafening roar of the great Daos resonance. He swooped down with his spear aimed at Lu Yun's head, unleashing his strongest divine ability, wanting to skewer Lu Yun through his spear. The heavens and earth trembled, the void surged like an ocean, and under this intensely powerful spear, everything else seemed dull and lifeless. Only that spear, piercing through the horizon, suppressing all of life, was truly awe-inspiring and absolutely terrifying. Lu Yun hadn't expected his opponent to be so strong. The golden core continuously supplied him with endless power, and the number of laws on the runes reached a terrifying scale. Every single spear thrust was difficult to defend against. Especially this spear, it was several times more powerful than before. If he were to take it head-on, the consequences would be severe. Trying to evade it would not be enough. Lu Yun took a deep breath and put all his effort into operating the Netherworld Gate, mobilizing all the law runes in his body to strengthen it. Instantly, the Netherworld Gate transformed into a towering portal that collided with that terrifying spear beam. However, the power of this spear was truly terrifying, practically resonating with the heavens and earth. With a boom, the Netherworld Gate shuddered and was violently knocked back into the sky. The boundless power carried by the spear beam tore through the sky like a force of nature, aiming for Lu Yun's physical body, intent on pinning him dead in the void. Let's see how you'll stop this. Mo Wuzong had long ago perfected his cultivation to the Golden Core realm and had the ability to fight beyond his level. Now, he had reached the limit of the early stage of the Golden Core realm. Each rune carried at least 200 laws, and few among his peers could compete against him. Chapter 496. Full Power, Self-Destruction Rules _3 With a soft plop, Lu Yun's body was instantly pierced through, turning into a residual afterimage and disappearing on the spot. At the same time, the Netherworld Gate suspended in the air turned into a rainbow light, swiftly flying towards the distant horizon. Seeing this scene, Mo Wuzong was initially stunned. Once he reacted, he immediately understood that Lu Yun had escaped. Impossible to escape immediately. With long hair fluttering in the wind, he turned into a bloody light, rapidly chasing after Lu Yun. Under the full-force explosion of a Golden Core realm expert, only a barely visible trace could be left in the void, which would disappear in the blink of an eye. Fighting Mo Wuzong was a waste of time, and Lu Yun was determined to get rid of him. Once he had gained a certain distance from his opponent, he used the instant horizon technique, completely disappearing from Mo Wuzong's sight. On another side, boom! The thundercloud bell vibrated, and the red moon demonic size aura was overwhelming. Hua Yunhui mobilized the power within the cave heavens, pushing down with a palm, forcing the red moon demon sect leader to step back slightly. Up to this point in the battle, Hua Yunhui had gained the upper hand. Both had condensed a set of rules, but Hua Yunhui's thundercloud bell was evidently superior. Damn it, after the thundercloud bell fell into the hands of the Meridian's Yuan Emperor, it not only generated a new weapon spirit, but its power also increased significantly. The Red Moon Demon sect leader was filled with hatred. Without this happening, Hua Yunhui would not be able to gain the upper hand. Gai Jiyo, you are not my match, and the Red Moon Demon sect will eventually be eradicated from the 100 sect. Gai Jiyo was the real name of the Red Moon Demon sect leader, a name that had always been unknown to outsiders. Even those who knew it would not dare to call him by this name. Only celestial humans like Hua Yunhui, who possessed rules, could call his name. Humph, even with the thundercloud bell, you can only barely gain the upper hand. Defeating me is impossible. Gai Jiyo snorted coldly, used all the power of heaven and earth within the cave heavens, bestowed it upon the Red Moon demonic scythe, and rolling black fog formed chains that pierced through the void. The thundercloud bell vibrated, creating endless ripples, causing the void within a radius of thousands of miles to collapse layer by layer. It's you who forced me, you will pay the price for trying to kill me. At that moment, an angry voice suddenly resounded in the void. Immediately after, a terrifying power surged. Such a terrifying fluctuation was even more horrifying than the self-detonation of the Golden Core. Boom. 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 The destructive impact raged. A huge piece of the void was visibly cracking and collapsing, but under the influence of a mysterious power, it slowly recovered. After a long time, the destructive fluctuations gradually subsided. In the void, Li Juyan's cave heavens were filled with numerous cracks, almost reaching their limit. However, the cave heavens gradually shrank and finally disappeared into Li Juyan's body. Do you think that by self-destructing a rule, you can change the final outcome? In the void battlefield, with a thought in Gongsun Zonghong's mind, the vast cave heavens suppressed downward towards the void. Boom. 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 The void immediately dispersed. Inside the cave heavens, two rules turned into golden bridges crossing the void. Li Juyin, who had condensed the broken cave heavens and was preparing to escape, looked at the sudden appearance of the golden bridges and his face changed drastically. Damn it, you've even made the rules outside the cave heavens connect with the void, don't you fear death? Li Juyin couldn't understand why his opponent was willing to pay any price to kill him. It was important to know that the rules within the boundless void and those within a celestial human's cave heavens were incompatible. Once the two sets of rules collided, there was a high probability of both rules being destroyed and the cave heavens being annihilated. Now, Gongsun Zonghong's actions were tantamount to forcibly connecting the passageways between the two cave heavens. If they were not careful, both their cave heavens could be destroyed by the rules entering from the void. With the golden bridge connecting the boundless void, the two separate cave heavens had already become connected through two channels. Gongsun Zonghong stepped onto the golden bridge and entered the cave heavens. Li Juyin, your demise is upon you. The grand voice, like the roaring of the great Tao, resounded throughout Li Juyan's cave heavens. Chapter 497. Demon Suppression Army Commander, Xiahou Shu. In the endless battlefield, Lu Yun looked at the golden bridge that suddenly appeared in the void, sacred and full of mysteries. This golden bridge seemed like a connection to the other shore, with the other end being incomparably mysterious, making people both yearn for and fear it. Lu Yun, if you are capable, don't run away and fight this saint child. An extremely angry voice came from behind. It was Mo Wuzong, who had been chasing Lu Yun all this time. Giving a faint glance behind him, Lu Yun ignored the other party. His figure flashed, and he disappeared on the spot again. At the place he left, the body of a Rune Seed Realm peak powerhouse slowly fell. Elsewhere, Gai Jiuyo, who had been using his divine ability, gradually became unable to withstand the pressure. As for strength, the difference between him and Hua Yunhui was negligible, but the Red Moon demonic scythe was no match for the Thundercloud Bell. Gai Jiyu's eyes were cold. The demon suppression army hid so deeply, using two heavenly human realm powerhouses who comprehend the rules, and even using this spiritual object, the Thundercloud Bell, in this one battlefield. Thinking about this, he already had the intention to retreat. Next, he spoke, and his voice entered the ears of all the Red Moon Demon Sect and 9 Nether Demon Sect martial artists on the battlefield. Withdraw from the battlefield immediately. As soon as these words came out, it was an announcement of the defeat of the Red Moon Demon Sect. In the face of the demon suppression army gradually gaining the upper hand, retreating was their only way out. So, after all the martial artists heard Gai Jiyu's order, they began to retreat towards the outside of the battlefield. However, they wanted to retreat, but the demon suppression army would not let them retreat so easily. Hua Yunhui stood tall in the void, his golden, deep eyes looking down over the entire battlefield. His solemn and majestic voice echoed in the ears of the demon suppression army. Attack the enemy with full force. The moment the words fell, his body standing on the thundercloud bell moved, and a palm struck directly towards Gai Jiuyo. The terrible golden giant palm was entwined with the powerful force of the rules, causing Gai Jiyu's expression to change drastically as he hurriedly mobilized the rules within the cave heavens, and slapped out with his palm. At the moment when the two horrifying giant palms collided in the void, the latter broke apart. Immediately after, that horrifying force directly struck Gai Juyu's body but was blocked by a barrier. The cave heavens returned to his body, and Gai Juyo coldly said, "You can't stop me from leaving, don't waste your energy. As the mighty sect leader of the Red Moon Demon sect, you flee in such a way, aren't you afraid of not being able to stand in the 100 sects?" Hua Yunhui spoke indifferently. He did not take action against Gai Juyo, just as the other party said, he couldn't stop him. As of now, in this one battle, the main force of the Red Moon Demon sect was lost, and he could easily attack their mountain gate in the future, so that by then, even if they wanted to escape, there would be no way out. Just then, the void trembled. An unwilling cry of anger echoed throughout the entire endless battlefield. Following that, a cave heavens turned into countless fragments, flying towards all directions and disappeared into the void. At the same time, Yin Wuji's body shook, and like a porcelain, it was covered in countless cracks, with light bursting out from those cracks. In less than a breath, the majestic and powerful body completely shattered, a large amount of blood spilled out, and endless laws shot out in all directions. This scene was witnessed by the retreating Red Moon Demon sect martial artists, and their minds were almost lost. The Supreme Elder has fallen. Impossible, the Supreme Elder is a celestial human, invincible in the world, how could he fall like this? It can't be. Many Rune Seed Realm and Golden Core Realm powerhouses shook their heads, their faces full of disbelief. In their minds, a heavenly human was indestructible, and the only thing that could threaten a heavenly human realm was time. However, the reality was in front of them, and they couldn't help but believe it. For a moment, the morale of these Red Moon Demon sect powerhouses plummeted even further. Outside the void battlefield, the strong people watching this scene were all shaken by the scene. Yin Wujie, with the help of the Divine Flower, condensed a rule and almost reached the invincible level, but still, he was killed by Gongsun Zhonghong. He really is extremely strong. Gongsun Zhonghong's strength has reached such an extent that he can kill heavenly humans who have condensed rules. Doesn't that mean that the Demon Suppression Army Commander Xiahou Shu's strength is even more terrifying? As this was said, the other powerful beings' hearts trembled again. Gongsun Zhonghong was only one of the Demon Suppression Army's vice commanders, and he was powerful enough to kill Yin Wujie, which meant that as the Demon Suppression Army commander, Xiahou Shu's strength had reached unfathomable levels. In this way, the power of the Demon Suppression Army would become truly unstoppable. After killing another Rune Seed Realm's peak, Lu Yun suddenly heard an unwilling roar of anger. Then, he saw numerous dazzling golden lights, which, after reaching their peak, dimmed as if they were meteor-like. Afterward, mushroom cloud fluctuations spread rapidly in all directions throughout the endless battlefield. Seeing this, Lu Yun knew right away what had happened. A heavenly human has fallen, and it seems to be one from the Red Moon Demon sect side. Understanding this point, Lu Yun once again accelerated the pace of hunting down his enemies. Now, with the complete defeat of the Red Moon Demon sect, this was his last chance to harvest the spoils of war, and he couldn't let it slip easily. So, Lu Yun started the hunt again. At the top of the void battlefield, Gai Juyo saw the shattered cave heavens. His face suddenly changed, and then boundless fury surged up in his heart. How could he not see who the fallen heavenly human was? "It seems that you can't leave now," Hua Yunhui said with a faint smile. He alone couldn't keep Gai Juyo, but with Gongsun Zhonghong, they had a very high chance.